A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
This I believe. Robert Hillyer is a poet, a Pulitzer Prize winner, who has recently published a new book of lyric poems, The Suburb by the Sea. Known to many through his writings, he is also the president of the Poetry Society of America, and was formerly a teacher in such colleges as Harvard and Kenyon. Born in East Orange, New Jersey, he now makes his home with his family in Greenwich, Connecticut. Hear now a poet's creed.
I feel the coming glory of the light. This last line of Edwin Arlington Robinson's sonnet, Credo, expresses the general basis of my belief. It is my task to clear away the debris of dead emotions, regrets, and petty ambitions, that the quickening light may come through. The five senses and the mystery of the breath draw in the wonder of the world, and with that, the glory of God. I may seldom rise to moments of exaltation, but I try to keep myself prepared for them. Thus I oppose the desire for oblivion that gnaws at our roots, even as the light is summoning us to bloom. The desire for oblivion conspires against the soul from outer circumstances and also from within oneself. Its agents are worry and resentment, envy and show. Its impulse is to seek things that are equally disappointing, whether they are missed or acquired. Its result is an abject conviction that everything is futile. By meditation and prayer, I can escape that dark, destructive force and win my way back to the beauties of the world and the joy of God. I believe in my survival after death. Like many others before me, I have experienced intimations of immortality. I can no more explain these than the brown seed can explain the flowering tree. Deep in the soil in time's midwinter, my very stirring and unease seems a kind of growing pain toward June. As to orthodox belief, I am an Episcopalian like my family before me. I can repeat the creed without asking too much margin for personal interpretation. To me it is a pattern, like the sonnet form in poetry, for the compact expression of faith. There are other patterns for other people, and I have no quarrel with these. By many paths we reach the single goal. I believe in the good intentions of others, and I trust people instinctively. My trust has often been betrayed in petty ways, and once or twice gravely. I cannot stop trusting people because suspicion is contrary to my nature. Nor would I, because the number of people who have justified my trust are 10 to 1 to those who have abused it. And I know that on occasion I have myself, perhaps inadvertently, failed to live up to some trust reposed in me. That the universe has a purposeful movement towards spiritual perfection seems to me logical, unless we are all cells in the brain of an idiot. A belief in spiritual as well as physical evolution has sustained me in an optimism still unshaken by cynics. There may be setbacks of a century or even centuries, but they seem small reverses when measured against the vast prospect of human progress, or even the record of it up to this point. I am blessed with a buoyant temperament and enjoy the pleasures of this earth. For daily living, I would say, one world at a time. I do not wish my life to be cluttered with material things. On the other hand, I do not wish to anticipate, by fanatical self-denial, the raptures to come. Sufficient unto the day is the good thereof.
That was poet and teacher Robert Hillyer, whose optimistic faith is the basis for his joy in living.
First on the scene, crime photographer.
Got it. Look for it in the Morning Express.
CBS Radio brings back Crime Photographer, another adventure of Casey, ace cameraman of the Morning Express, who covers the crime news of a great city. with the original cast, author, and director, crime photographer played by Stotts Cotsworth and written by Alonzo Dean Cole, tonight presents Road Angel. Morning, an infrequently traveled side road at the far northern limits of our wide, sprawling city. Police cars are there, and a grim-looking enclosed truck which bears the legend, City Mortuary. Another car appears, draws to a halt, and discharges Casey and Ann Williams.
Captain Logan and the tech men are back among those trees, Casey.
Yeah, I see him, Annie. Hi, Logan.
Hello. Morning, Miss Williams.
Oh, hi, Captain Logan.
Hi, Charlie, Pete, Frank.
Hi,
Well, who's been killing who today?
That I don't know yet. This guy was bumped off sometime last night.
No.
Mm-hmm. He was a big man.
Yeah. Looks like whoever shot him collected a little trouble himself, Miss Williams. Look at the skin knuckles on his right hand.
A big boy here must have taken a healthy poke at somebody and connected, huh? 2 bullet holes in his head. Size 38 caliber, I'd say.
38 is right, Casey. We've already found one of the slugs. The other's still inside his skull.
Okay for pictures, Logan?
Now, go ahead. My tech guys have got their stuff.
Thank you, pal.
Any identification on the body, Captain?
Plenty, Miss Williams. His name was Edward Pierce, and he was a farm machinery salesman in Ardmore, about 200 miles upstate. The killer took all his dough and his car, but didn't bother with his jewelry or personal papers, including car registration and driver's license.
Oh, robbery motive, then.
Looks like.
Hitchhiker job, Logan?
That's my guess. Whoever he picked up must have pulled a gun and forced him out of his car here. Pierce took a poke at him and bang, bang. A kid cutting through this patch of woods on his way to school this morning discovered the body.
Too bad this job wasn't done a little to the north of here, Logan, outside the city limits, huh?
Yeah, less than half a mile, and cops in the next county would have had the headache.
Mm-hmm.
Why does everything happen to me?
Blue Note Cafe, Ethelbert the bartender speaking. You want Doyle and Kirschbaum's dry goods store? I'm sorry, lady, but this is one of the wrongest numbers you could get. Dry goods store.
Hi, Ethelbert.
Oh. Oh, hello, Casey.
Hi, Ethelbert. You got any coffee in the kitchen, huh?
Sure, Casey. Walter, bring out a cup of coffee and bring out some more olives. You just coming to work, Casey?
No, I've been out on assignment already this morning, and way out, too.
Anything interesting?
Hitchhiker robbery and murder, apparently.
Gee, where's Miss Williams?
She's across the street in the city room banging out her story.
Oh, here you are, Casey. Thanks, Walter. Tell me about this hitchhiker murder. Was it very gory?
No, pal. Just run-of-the-mill. As it stands now, it'll rate no more than a few sticks on page 4, and maybe one of the pictures I shot in 2 columns square.
Oh, that's too bad.
Morning, Ethelbert.
Here's Miss Williams.
Hello, Annie. Didn't take you long to finish your job.
Well, I didn't know how little there was to write. But now we got to do some follow-up stuff. Burke wants us to stick around homicide and get any inside dope that comes in.
Okay, Burke's the editor, so Burke's the boss. But you ought to know by this time that any on-the-record inside dope we get from Logan is also what every other paper gets.
Well, Burke says to feed the captain truth serum.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Ethelbert.
So long, pal.
Goodbye. I've heard of truth serum. Now, I wonder...
As I've just informed several of your competitors, Miss Williams, the state police found Pierce's car, undamaged and containing some very interesting exhibits.
Well, how nice for our competitors, Captain. What are the exhibits?
A fully loaded 9mm Italian Beretta pistol. It was wedged out of sight between the cushions of the front seat. And some beautiful fingerprints on the car door of a hoodlum named Carl Flagler, who was paroled about a month ago.
Oh, well, it looks like you're pretty close to your killer then, huh?
Seems so. There's an 8-state alarm out for Flagler. Yeah, it'll be a relief to have an easy one for a change. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Homicide, Captain Logan speaking. Put him on. State police again, Casey.
Yeah?
Hello, Colonel. You have? Oh, that's just swell. Say, that really does it. Now, what did the punk say? Sure, they're all innocent. Oh, you bet I'll come up. And see you this afternoon, Colonel, and thanks a million. They've got Flagler at headquarters barracks in Clinton County. And when he was picked up, he had cartridges for that 9mm Beretta pistol in his pockets.
Well, looks like everything's over but the execution.
It's a nice day for a drive up to Clinton County, Annie. We'd be getting away from some humdrum work. Maybe the boss would...
I'll call Burke right away and ask him.
Yeah, tell him we can go in Logan's car and save the paper gas mileage.
You chiseler.
Say, Logan, tying Flagler up with a 9mm foreign pistol kind of unties him from the 38 revolver slugs that went into Pierce's head.
I've been trying not to think of that.
What are you trying to do, spoil a beautiful day?
Listen, Flagler, be good to yourself and come clean. You finally admitted to the state police that Pierce gave you a lift in his car?
Sure I did. What else could I do after they told me what they had on me? Now, look, Copper, I did thrum a ride from that big lug you call Pierce, and I did have that foreign gat in my pocket, and I did try to pull a stick up on Pierce with it. That's where the big difference comes in between what you think happened and what really happened.
Let's hear the big difference, Flagler.
Well, I've been trying to tell you. Look, I pulled my rod and told this guy to stop his car and get out. He did like I said, and I got out after him. Then I make a mistake and come too close to him. He grabs my gun and gives me a sock on the jaw that almost laid me out. Well, all I could do was run, and that's what I did. I didn't kill him. He nearly killed me.
That bruise in your jaws from the sock he gave you?
Yeah. And look at these loose teeth, huh? They prove I'm telling the truth, don't they?
We can prove enough to burn you, Flagler. No jury will doubt that you killed Pierce.
But I didn't. He was alive the last time I saw him, and he had my gun. I didn't have nothing to kill him with.
You could have had two guns, couldn't you?
I didn't. I swear I didn't. I'll tell you.
I'm through with him for the time being, Colonel.
All right, Captain. Take him away, Sergeant.
Come on, Casey.
Okay.
What do you think, Colonel?
Well, about the same as you do, I imagine, Captain. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Casey?
Well, if he did shoot him, why didn't he wipe his fingerprints off the car? The dumbest crook knows enough to do that.
Who can tell, Casey? Who can tell? Colonel, you sure your tech man didn't find even a trace of any prints on that car excepting those of Flagler and Pierce himself?
Only a few smudges that couldn't be developed. Pierce had washed and polished the car himself just before he left his home.
Only a few hours ago, Casey. This looked like a beautiful day.
Anything new on that hitchhiker murder, Miss Williams?
Well, plenty. Ethelbert, haven't you seen the Morning Express yet?
Why, no. A fella left a Morning Globe on the bar here, so instead of buying your paper, I...
Just imagine this fella. He'd rather save a nickel than read fresh news, Annie.
I gotta be saving, Casey, when a certain friend of mine has owed me $16.50 for 2 whole weeks.
Look, I told you you'll get it out of my paycheck this Saturday, and incidentally, it's $15.60, not $16.50.
Casey, I distinctly remember.
Oh, so do I. $15.60.
What's plenty new on that case, Miss Williams?
Well, another robbery and murder. Apparently by a hitchhiker on the same highway between here and Ardmore.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The guy's body was found last night. He was shot by the same .38 that killed Pierce.
And Carl Flagler was in jail when it happened.
That proves...
But at least proves that Flagler didn't pull the second job.
Yeah. Is this new killing up to Captain Logan?
No, it's outside of his jurisdiction. You know what I can't get through my head is how could Pierce have been dumb enough to pick up another hitchhiker after Flagler had tried to stick him up just a little early?
Well, maybe he didn't. Maybe he picked up somebody he knew.
Well, either that or...
What's this big for?
Most guys will pick up a woman, Annie, and under any circumstances, especially if she's reasonably young and good-looking.
Oh, the voice of experience.
Well, I've never seen you turn your back on a handsome guy unless there was a handsomer one just behind you.
That's because the wise female knows that the predatory male must be carefully watched.
Sure. Listen, Few guys will squawk to the cops when a dame puts something over on them. Often they got good reason to keep their mouths shut.
No doubt.
Look, Annie, if the boss will give me a go-ahead, plus expenses, I'm going to give this idea a play.
How?
Well, by burning up some gas along the highway between here and Ardmore, leisurely, on the lookout, and alone, and in search of company.
I don't think I like your idea.
Neither do I. Supposing you get bumped off like them other fellas before Saturday when your paycheck is due.
Huh. Well, you can omit the flowers, pal. You know, ordinarily you'd spend at least $15.60 on my funeral.
$16.50.
$15.60. I'm on my way to Proposition Bert right now. I'm going to see you later, Ethelbert.
$16.50. $15.60. But if he gets... Say, he can't do that to me.
We'll return to Crime Photographer in just a moment. Kathy and Elliot Lewis, on stage, formerly heard at this time on CBS Radio, have left on a brief vacation. They'll be back at an early date at a somewhat later Wednesday night hour over most of these same stations. If you've enjoyed the original dramatizations and fine performances of this outstanding Hollywood acting family, be listening for the early return of Kathy and Elliot Lewis on stage at the Star's Address. And now, back to Casey, Crime Photographer.
You have any news from Sherlock Casey yet, Miss Williams? I haven't been notified that he's caught up with any murderous lady hitchhikers.
Neither have I, Captain Logan. Last night, after the first day, he phoned me from upstate and said 2 gals had thumbed rides with him. One turned out to be a lady librarian, and the other tried to sell him a magazine subscription. Casey expected sympathy, and I didn't give it to him.
The guy's young, Miss Williams, like Jack Benny. Let him live and learn.
Seriously, Logan, do you think he has a real idea?
Seriously, Anne? I think he has.
Fill her up, sir.
Yeah, please. The oil in the water's okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you look tired, mister. Been driving a long way?
Mm-hmm. 4 days, pal.
From way out west or way down south?
No, just up and down. 1 lady librarian, 3 discontented wives, and more sales ladies.
What's that?
Huh? Oh, I'm just talking to myself. If you hear me answer myself, call the white coats.
I don't understand you, sir.
Ignore it, pal.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Say, did you ever hear of a gal hitchhiker along this highway who puts the big B on guys who pick her up?
No.
Yeah, that's what they all tell me.
You a cop?
No. That's a dumb newspaper guy who's getting desperate. Charge the gas you put in. Here's my credit card.
Casey's the name, huh?
That's right.
Address, morning. Say, you ain't the fellow who takes all those crime pictures.
Well, I'm one of the fellows who takes some of them.
You up here about that killing of Ed Pierce?
I was. Now I'm about ready to fold my tent like the Arabs and silently blow.
Excuse me, but that line is, and as silently steal away.
Oh.
I like poetry.
That's nice.
I like Mr. Pierce, too. He's a nice fella.
What? You knew him?
Oh, no, not well, just as a customer.
Oh.
That Carl Flagler was arrested. Couldn't have killed that second fellow who was a bumped off.
No. And I don't believe that Flagler bumped off Pierce either.
Neither do I. Mr. Casey, I have heard something about a girl hitchhiker.
You have?
Yeah.
Look, if it's anything I can use, you'll get $100 from the Morning Express, pal. And your name will be kept dark if you want it that way.
No. I don't want any money. But I do want my name and business kept confidential, though.
All right, that's how it'll be.
All right. I'm not going to stall or beat around a bush. I didn't just hear about a girl hitchhiker. One was in my car, and she took me.
Pal, you're the break I've been praying for.
That goes double. I felt like a skunk for not going to cops, is what I got to tell you, but I'm a family man, Mr. Casey. I got kids. I live in a small town, and if I told the police about me picking up a girl hitchhiker...
I know. Go ahead.
Well, since this girl's pulled her stuff and a lot of other fellas besides me, so I was hoping one of them would speak up.
Tell me about the girl.
Well, here's the works. Just 3 weeks ago, come Tuesday, I was driving alone to the big town when, stand beside the highway, I saw a young woman. She had one of those little overnight bags in one hand, and she wasn't summoned like some do, but just standing there looking wistful.
Oh, yeah, I've fallen for that approach.
The wind was blowing, pulling her dress kind of tight against her figure, and she had a swell figure. You know what I thought to myself?
Maybe you better not tell me.
Huh? Oh, well, anyway, it sounded crazy, and it was crazy, but I said to myself, Dan Reynolds, that girl with her dress flapping like wings, looks like an angel of the road.
Road angel, huh?
Oh, like I remarked a while back, I like poetry.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, well, I stopped, and the girl got in, and before we'd driven together a dozen miles, she'd given me reason to believe she wasn't any angel. She suggested I turn off into a side road and park.
Oh?
She made the suggestion with a gun poked against my ribs.
Ah, see.
It was one of those snub-nosed revolvers. A .38, I think.
A .38 killed Pierce.
Yeah, so I read in the papers. If this girl had been a man, I might have tried to take it away from him. As it was, I just let her take my money. Pierce and that other fellow she killed must have acted different. The cops found my car the next day. I simply reported stolen while parked.
Look, tell me everything you can remember about this gal, Mr. Reynolds.
Well, I'm not too good at remembering faces, the details, that is. Let's see. She had sort of medium-colored hair, I think, blue eyes, or maybe brown. She wasn't exactly tall or short neither. But her figure...
Mm-hmm. I look for a road angel.
That's her, Mr. Casey. Till after she gets inside a man's car.
Oh, 300 more miles up and down. And no road angel. Bah, this job is driving me nuts. Can I give you a lift, sister?
Oh, thanks. I was hoping somebody would stop.
Oh, sure. Let me put that little bag of yours in the bag.
Oh, it doesn't take up much room. I'll keep it beside me.
Oh, okay. How far are you going?
Canesville. A few miles this side of it, really. You going that far?
Sure. Farther. Right through.
Oh, that's fine.
Beginning to think so, too. My name is Casey. You care to give me yours?
Why not? I'm Doris Chapman.
Doris. Okay. Or do you want to be Miss Chapman?
Does your wife permit strangers to call her by her first name?
My wife? You know, a husband never knows what his wife permits strangers to do when he's not around.
That's a very cynical statement.
Oh, yeah, I'm a real cynical husband. You married?
No.
Engaged? Divorced?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 21, Mr. Casey. But aren't those rather personal questions?
I'm beginning to wonder.
About what?
Angels.
Angels?
Uh-huh. Maybe the wrong angel.
Well, Mr. Casey, I had to leave college several months ago and take a full-time job.
Uh-huh.
Luckily, I found a nice one with a lovely family. The job pays well, but supporting my younger brother, I must economize.
Oh, sure.
Well, that's why I try to save bus fare as I've done with you. Oh, I didn't mean to tell you all this, but you've been nice. Not like a lot of men I've met, so I owed you an explanation.
Oh, no, you didn't. Not at all, you did. Gee, I'm mighty glad you felt like giving it to me, though. You're an okay kid. How often can a guy be wrong?
Men are always wrong.
What?
This is a gun you feel in your side, Sap.
Why, I see it is. It's a .38, snub-nosed.
Turn right.
You're calling the turns.
I always do.
Boy, you really fooled me with that act of yours.
I've got different acts for different men.
You know your men, huh?
I've had reason to know them. They're all lousy. Now stop your car. Now get out.
Okay.
Give me your dough.
Here's my wallet. Help yourself.
Thanks. Now take a nice long walk. That's what a man told me to do one time when he threw me out of his car. So long, sap.
So long. Angel. How could she? Oh, how will I ever explain this? Okay, all right, razz me. Go ahead, needle me, Annie. Give me the complete works. I had the girl right there in my car, and then she took me like, oh, nuts.
I'm not even going to ask you how it felt to get out and walk, Casey.
Oh, why not? Go right ahead. Only had to walk about 5 miles before I was able to thumb ride.
Yeah, the bad publicity you newspaper people have given hitchhikers must make the racket pretty tough.
Oh, Logan.
Now, calm down, Casey. I'm not going to rub it in.
No, neither am I.
Well, thanks. You know, I'd have taken a chance on getting that 38 away from her if I don't know, I just couldn't sock even her sort of a gal.
Casey, you remember pretty exactly what she looks like.
Oh, I haven't been photographing people all these years without looking at them. I can even tell you the shade of lipstick and nail polish she uses.
You didn't have that sort of description to go by. Miss Williams will have it.
Huh? Annie will have
Me?
Casey, from what you told us, this road angel is very anti-man, which has given me a kind of a sort of a idea.
On and on, up and down. No road angel here, no road angel there. Only road. And, well, Casey said he began talking to himself after a few days of this. And I gave him the raspberry. Uh-oh. It's her. It couldn't be anybody else. You looking for a ride, sister?
No, thanks. I'm waiting for somebody.
A driver wearing pants and a wolfish grin?
Not necessarily.
Oh, sure you are. I know you.
You know me?
Same as one soldier knows another, by the uniform. I used to play the road myself in a tight-fitting dress and clutching a little overnight bag.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I gave it up a couple years ago for a better racket. The road's small time, kid. There's too much risk for too little income. Come on, hop in. Let's get acquainted.
Okay.
Toss your bag in the back on top of my luggage.
Swell-looking suitcases you've got back there.
Yeah, a lot of them. Filled with swell clothes. I do all right. Close the door. Let's get rolling. My name's Annie Johnson. Present, that is. What'll I call you?
Doris will do. Doris Larkin.
What college you out of?
College?
Yeah. I got graduation papers from Tehachapo myself.
Oh, that's the woman's prison in California.
Mm-hmm. Are you a reformatory gal?
I was in Elmira for a while.
You're a liar. They don't put kids in there.
I'm over 21.
Save that for guys who are afraid of minor trouble. You're San Quentin Quail, under 18.
You're really pretty smart.
Yeah, with my background, I ought to be.
What's your racket now?
Oh, same as yours, men. But I make 'em pay thousands while you collect dimes.
I collect more than dimes.
Oh, sure, yeah. You rope a sap for as much as a century now and then. But your average is small. And sometimes you hit a guy who hits back.
No guy hits back at me and gets away with it.
Yeah, I've heard you punks talk big before. I used to do a little bragging myself, as I remember.
Does this look like I'm bragging?
Oh, you lug around that 38?
And I've used it.
Say, I read about you in the papers. A guy named Pierce, maybe, and another named Hotchkiss.
Yeah, I killed him.
Yeah, and the cops are looking for a male hitchhiker to pin those jobs on.
Cops are men, which means they're dumb. I hope they burn some man for those 2 jobs I did.
You never admit things like that, do you, Doris, except when you're alone with a friend like me?
Oh, I don't figure you for a friend, Annie.
No?
I never had a friend and never expect to have one. My father used to slug me, and even my mother beat me up until I ran away from home. I don't trust anybody. I hate everybody. Now turn into the next side road we come to.
You're going to take me, huh?
For all you've got. With a prison record like you've got, you're not going to call copper any more than a married man would.
Well, I won't make any squawk, Doris. Because I'm not going to be taken.
Oh, let go of my
You
hair.
give me that gun and I'll pull your hair out.
I will.
I'm not a man, and I don't mind messing you up. Here's Angel's gun, Casey, and you can take the rest of her, Captain.
Here.
These guys.
Surely you remember me, Miss Chapman. And you'll get to know Captain Logan here very well. He's boss of the homicide
Yeah,
bureau.
and if you'd been as smart as you thought you were, Doris, you'd have noticed that a car was following us. It followed me for almost 4 days, just waiting for you to take a ride and talk. She said what you hoped you'd say, Casey.
Good.
I didn't say anything. You can't prove I did.
But I can, my pet. Under all those suitcases is a tape recorder that I started when you got into this car. It's taken down your every sweet word.
And I'm pretty sure the bullets that killed Pierce and Hotchkiss will match the rifling of this .38 revolver.
And if that isn't enough evidence, here's one guy you may get out and walk who'll talk loud and long in court.
You dirty rats. You lousy skunks. You dirty rats.
Angel.
That Doris's .38 revolver proved to be the one which killed them fellas, huh, Casey?
Yeah, Ethelbert, that's right. And that, plus the confession that Miss Williams got, will bring a conviction from even the dumbest jury.
Meaning all-male jury.
Oh.
And Doris is just a little over 18, so she won't go before a juvenile court. She gets the works.
Any girl as bad as her deserves the works, I suppose.
Well, the people who made her bad deserve it, Ethelbert, too. Kids like her don't just happen, you know.
No, they don't. But no matter what it is that makes mad dogs, they can't be allowed to run loose.
Yeah, let's talk about something else, huh?
I know what. That money you owe me, Casey.
Oh, never mind.
While you was out of town, I couldn't expect to collect it, but now...
Well, I haven't forgotten it, pal. Here. There you are, $16.50.
$16.50?
Well, that's right, isn't it?
Sure, it's right, but $16.50. Miss Williams, did you feed Casey some of that truth serum you were getting for Captain Logan?
You have been listening to Crime Photographer, played by Stotts Cotsworth, and based on the original character created by George Harmon Cox, is written for radio by Alonzo Dean Cole, with Jan Miner as Anne, John Gibson as Ethelbert, Bernard Lenrow as Captain Logan, Lou White's original music, and Teddy Wilson as the Blue Note pianist. Crime Photographer is produced and directed by John Dietz. Join us again next Wednesday night at the same time for another fast-moving adventure with Casey, Crime Photographer. For our men in uniform overseas or anywhere away from home, home is mail call. Through the letters you send to those you know, you brighten life and make home close. Write often all the items you know about the place you left behind. Make your friend or relative glad instead of sad when mail call rolls around. Gangbusters go into action Saturday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
This I believe. As rugged as the hills of his native Scotland are the beliefs of Professor Robert McKeever, chairman of Columbia University's Sociology Department. Listen now to his honest faith.
When I was a boy, a stone was to me a stone, and that was a bit of worn-down rock that could be kicked about or thrown at things. And earth was earth, and that was an inert crumbling stuff in which things crawled and grew. Everything was what it was. Things were just what our senses said they were. In time I learned that the stone had a strange history over millions of years. I learned that mighty forces had formed and baked it, buried it and smoothed it. I learned that the dead stone was composed of infinitesimal atoms. I learned then that the inconceivably small atom was itself a system, and that its constituents whirled in their orbits with incredible swiftness. In short, everything turned out to be more and more different from what it seemed to be. It was my ignorance that made me think things common and ordinary, for they are strange and wonderful. What has all this to do with beliefs? It certainly has a lot to do with mine. Let me draw a moral or two which may explain what I mean. One is that in learning about things, we never learn things, the causes of things. We learn more about things, and the things change amazingly as we learn, but we never learn to explain their being. We discover the atom, and it becomes another form of energy. But what is energy? And if someday energy turns out to be something else again, we are no nearer explaining it than before. My beliefs furnish no answer to many of my questions. They do not tell me what immortality means, as imputed to personal existence, what it could mean, or even whether it has any meaning. They tell me only that what has been from the first is immortal. But what was first, and in what manner of being, is beyond my grasp. I believe that everything belongs forever with other things, but how it belongs and will belong, I cannot comprehend. What we have in common with all, what we share and do not diminish by sharing, the common pulse, the common life, the common destiny, holds what is richest and deepest in ourselves, and in the sympathetic understanding of it lies first whatever of divinity we can attain. A 17th century thinker, Sir Thomas Browne, said he loved to pursue his thoughts to a point where he had to stop and cry, "Oh, the far heights." That is about all I can do. The wonder is in me and encompasses me and lies forever beyond. And knowing no name for it, I will call it God.
That was the creed of Professor Robert M. McKeever, whose education was begun at Edinburgh and Oxford University, and has clearly never ended.
Crime does not pay.
Matt Davis sent you, didn't he?
What difference does it make who sent me?
He got Vic. He doesn't need me, too.
You were there when Vic got his. You know the rules.
Rules were made to be broken, Chuckles, by smart people like you and me.
Orders, baby. I was told to find you and take care of you. I found you.
Then why don't you put a period on it there? You don't think I'd be better looking dead than alive? What do you think, Chuckles,
Frankly, baby, I think right now I'd rather kiss you than kill you.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Law of the Jungle, starring Alan Baxter. Now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Alan Baxter as Chuckles Matson in Law of the Jungle. The word organization implies a set of rules. The laws of organized crime may be summed up in one phrase: obey or die. The law of the jungle. The policemen of organized crime are the trigger men like Corey Taylor and Bantam Smith. Corey and Bantam were engaged one evening in the performance of their job, at which they were experts.
Much further, Corey? Not much. You heard the bug. He said 2 miles past the Red Robin Inn, turn right, dirt road. Vic's convertible we parked along there. Lover's Lane. Never thought Vic was a romantic type. Watch that speedometer. You ever see Mary Parker? With her, I could get romantic. 1/10 of a mile ago. The dame terrific? Really stacked. Slow down. Yeah. What a shame. You mean Mary? Yeah, if she's got like you say. Nobody will miss Vic. Do you really think he could get away with it? Looks like it. That jerk. Nobody crosses Mac Davis and gets away with it. Least of all in the horse syndicate. Watch it. Here's the turnout. Right. Holy smoke. You expect to hit anything on a road like this and in this dark? I brought the chopper. Oh, that ought to do it. You sure it's Vic's car? I know the license number like I know my own name. Keep going. Now, there's a paved road at the end of this rut. Gotcha. Nice to have known you, Vic. Too bad I never got to know the dame. Slow down, Bantam. Let's go, Bantam.
All over every front page in town. Gangster slain by machine gun blast. Lover's Lane. Scene of gang war killing.
It was bound to come out, Mac. You know that.
Somebody was bound to find him. They always do unless we give them a cement jacket.
I know, but get this. Police discovered the dead mobster Vic Jones following a telephone call from a woman.
What? Impossible. The chopper at 6 feet.
The woman refused to give a name, but a lady's glove found on the blood-smeared floor of the car indicated that some woman had been present when the shooting occurred. Police are searching for a friend of Jones, one Mary Parker, ex-model.
But I gave them about 40 slugs. I don't see how...
No, but it happened. You missed her, clean. So the whole story is walking around loose. I got to start all over again.
Let us take care of it.
Go on, get out fast before I lose my temper. And on the way out, tell Chuckles I want him.
Okay, Mac, if that's the way you want it.
Yeah, sure, boss. We'll tell him.
Sometimes I wish I was running a one-man racket like the old days.
You want me, Mac?
Yeah. Can't you smile once in a while?
A job you want done, Mac?
Yes, a job. I want you to get Mary Parker.
Yeah, I saw in the papers the boys missed her last night.
Don't you miss.
Piece of sash cord never misses.
I know. Not when you're twisting it. Okay, get the Parker dame.
What's she look like?
Pictures in the paper, here.
Anything with some clothes on?
You're a cold fish. No, that's all.
Okay, where'll I find her?
She's got half as much brains as she's got looks. She's still running.
Which way? Where do you suppose the trail starts?
Vic had a place for her over on Stanton Street. You might start there.
Right.
And keep going until you find her. All women talk too much.
A 5 if you speak up. Where is she?
I know. I clean a hall, make a fire, polish the brass, fix fuse. I don't know nothing.
Come on, Miss Parker. Where is she?
Okay, if I know, I'll tell you.
When did you see her last?
2, 3 days ago. She called downstairs on the telephone. I come up, fix a washer in the kitchen sink.
You know any of her friends?
Man?
Or woman?
Miss Parker, I have a friend, Miss Foster, in 3B.
Here's a 5. Why didn't you say so in the first place?
You got no right in here, and I'm not talking. I don't know you.
I'm here, and you're talking, Miss Josie Foster.
Where'd you get my name?
You forget it's on the bell? Now talk, Josie. Where's Mary?
I haven't heard from her since...
Since her boyfriend got his. Okay, now where is she?
I don't know, I tell you.
More of the same, or do you talk now?
I don't know where she is. I don't know. Give me a chance, will you? Vic had a place out near Thomasville. She probably went there, if any place.
What did you have, young fella?
A Coke and some information.
One Coke, coming right up. What do you want to know?
Any strangers hereabouts lately? Any strangers, Pop?
You got it bad if you can't even laugh. Sure, there's a mighty pretty one staying up the Jones place. Bought a load of canned goods this morning, like she was aiming to stay a while. Asked me to deliver for her.
Did you?
Well, not yet.
All right, if I do it for you?
Why not? Quite a piece out, though. 5 miles up the road, right turn. Half mile from the fork on the left. I'd like to see her face when she opens the door and you say, groceries, miss. That'll be something.
Yeah, that'll be something. Mama don't want no peas, no rice, no coconut oil. No, Mama don't want no peas, no rice, no coconut oil.
Who's there?
Groceries, miss.
Well, leave him on the porch and go away.
Can't. Mr. Tucker says COD for strangers.
Oh, all right. You have to wait a minute.
No peas, no rice, no coconut.
Say, that's quite a load. Put it in the kitchen, will you? In the kitchen, Oh.
Mary Parker, isn't it? My name's Chuckles Matson.
The one who never smiles. Vic told me about you.
Vic never mentioned you. Now I see why.
Oh, thank you. You, like what you see?
I like it. I could like it a lot.
I'd like to teach you to smile.
Sorry, baby, no dice. Now take it without a fight and I won't have to hurt you.
Mac Davis sent you, didn't he?
What difference does it make who sent me?
He got Vic. He doesn't need me, too.
You were there when Vic got his. You know the rules.
Rules were made to be broken, Chuckles, by smart people. Like you and me.
Orders, baby. I was told to find you and take care of you. I found you.
Then why don't you put a period on it there? You don't think I'd be better looking dead than alive. What do you think, Chuckles?
Frankly, baby, I think right now I'd rather kiss you than kill you.
Want to try the kiss, Chuckles?
Why not?
How did you find me, Chuckles?
What difference does it make, Mary? I found you. We'll put a period on it there.
So you found her, Chuckles?
Yeah, I found her.
Everything taken care of?
No, not yet.
Chuckles, I sent you out on a job.
I know you did. Nothing to worry about.
You didn't take care of her.
That wasn't the time or the place.
You going soft, Chuckles?
Me? Not in your life, Mac.
Then why?
I traced her through a dame named Josie Foster.
I know her. One of Vic's ex-boys taking care of her.
And through a wise guy of a storekeeper. The trail's a mile wide.
Okay, so what?
So, when the time comes and the place...
How long?
I gotta get her confidence so I can take her off someplace in the car and dump her. That's all.
And meantime?
Meantime, nothing.
She'll talk. You can't be with her all the time.
Maybe that's what I intend to do, Mac. Be with her all the time. Until her time is up.
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Law of the Jungle. Now we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Alan Baxter as Chuckles Matson in Law of the Jungle. There were some among the men and women of the underworld who thought of Chuckles Matson as the hand of fate. But now that hand was stayed. Chuckles was taking care of Mary Parker in his own way. And it was a pleasant way for both of them, even when he brought Mary back to the city.
This is it, baby.
This is what, darling?
Your place.
Oh,
Like it?
like it? Oh, Chuckles, it's just beautiful. Why, it even has a view.
Stay away from that window, baby.
Huh? Oh, I see. Mac doesn't know about this.
Or us.
I'm taking an awful chance, darling, if I'm still...
Yes, you are. You'll always be. You know that.
Oh, Chuckles, I'm scared. It's all too good to last.
It'll last longer here, kid. It's only a hop and a jump from my own place, see? And Mac will take it easy if I'm around town more than if I was with you in the country.
Where does Mac think I am?
In Thomasville.
And you didn't tell him about this place.
Nobody knows about this place, baby, except you and me. It's ours. Nobody muscles in here.
You know, I think that's the closest to a proposal you've ever come. I think you do love me in your way, darling. I'm beginning to think you really do.
Okay, so you got the dame under control. What I want to know is, when does she go under the ground?
She'll go, Max, she'll go.
I don't like this monkeying around, Chuckles.
I'm not playing games.
That's just the trouble. It's written all over you. You're falling for the dame.
Not me. When I find out what I want to find out, kaput.
When you find out what?
Where Vic Jones stashed his take.
She knows?
Of course she does. Show me a dame who don't know where her boyfriend has his dough.
Well, why'd you say so?
You never asked me.
Chuckles, you find out where Vic unloaded a pile he stole from me, and I'll split with you 50-50.
It's a deal. Only it'll take time.
Why should it, Chuckles? You're stalling. I'm beginning to think you don't want to pickle that dame.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay, boy, but time's running out. It's not only Mary Parker who's getting awful close to a finish.
She is, boss.
Who do you think you are forcing me to come here?
Sit down, Josie, and try to act like a lady.
Who are you?
Mac Davis.
The boss.
Hear that, Bantam? The lady knows me.
Are all your gorillas bums like this one?
Shut up. Quiet, Bantam. What's wrong, Miss Foster?
Well, if he'd have told me who he worked for, I'd have come a lot easier. I've been wanting to see you.
Remember that the next time I send you for a lady, Bantam.
I will, boss.
Now then, Miss Foster, I wanted to see you. You wanted to see me. A good start.
I think we'll get along.
What has been on your mind?
You sent a frozen-faced character looking for Mary Parker.
Yes, I understood you're a friend of hers.
I was.
But I understand you tipped off Chuckles concerning Mary's hideout.
Chuckles? Him? Oh, that's a laugh.
Oh, he does laugh once in a while. What about him?
Just he slapped me around before I told him, and I don't forget things like that.
Keep talking, Josie.
I know where he's hiding Mary.
So do we, in Vic Jones' place in Thomasville. We can take her any time we want.
That's what you think.
What? Shut up, Bantam. Where are they, Josie?
You'll, take care of him if I tell you?
One way or another? Yes.
He's gone soft on her. I saw her in town a week ago and followed her. He's got her in a flat on West Warren Street.
Pretty ritzy.
He's crossing you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Josie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, what did you want from me?
Exactly what you've told me. So Mary Parker's right here in town after...
What if she is, Mac? I told you why.
Yes, but not where.
Has Frail been spilling her alleged mind?
Next time you won't be so free with your fists, Mr. Chuckles Matson.
You must be nuts.
For the last time, Chuckles, take care of Mary Parker.
I told you, Mac, I'll do it after she tells me...
Stop it. Vic had no kick. His boys split it after we took care of Vic. I've known that for months. Make up your mind, Chuckles. It's Mary or Mary and you. You know the law. Don't cross me, Chuckles. I'd hate to have to put you in a cement jacket.
Like the country this time of year, Mary?
If a city girl can like the country at any time, then I do.
Ah, good.
Of course, the company might have something to do with it.
Oh, thanks.
Anything wrong, Chuckles?
No, nothing. Why?
Oh, I don't know. You haven't been like this since the first time we saw each other. Mac give you an assignment?
Yeah.
Couldn't you quit the racket, Chuckles?
You know better than that.
We could just keep on driving. They'd never find us.
I found you.
Well, are you sorry, darling?
You think I am?
No, I guess not.
Then you guess right.
Any reason to stop, Chuckles?
Just the view.
The view at this time of night?
Oh, why not? There's a moon and a city down below.
We are being romantic, aren't we?
Why not? Once in a lifetime.
Why not?
Over here, Mary. Come on.
Oh, it is lovely, Chuckles. You know, darling, you can be sweet. I wonder what you were like when you were a little boy.
Look at the moon, Mary.
Where? In your eyes, darling.
No, up there. Isn't this view something?
It is. But you could almost look at it the rest of your life, I guess.
Yes, Mary. The rest of your life.
No!
Oh, fight, baby. Go easier. It won't hurt. Sorry, baby. It was you. For both of us. I'll bury you here, baby. So you can see the view the rest of your life.
Yes?
Mac?
Yes?
It's all taken care of.
At the straight dope, Chuckles?
Yeah, straight. Nobody will find her.
Good boy. Where are you?
Warren Street, the apartment. I'll see you, Mac. Quiet. Too quiet. I can't take it, Mary.
Why did you do it, Chuckles? Why?
Hey, who's that? No one's here. No one's here but me.
Why, Chuckles? We were happy here. Happy? Why did you do it, Chuckles?
What's going on? Am I nuts or something? You're dead. I buried you. You're dead. I buried you myself on the hill. No such thing. No such thing as voices. Kid stuff. There's no such thing. She's not the first nor the last.
You like to drive with me, Chuckles? With the top down.
Cut it out. You're driving yourself crazy.
We like the country as much as two city people could.
Leave me alone. Cut it out. Get hold of yourself, Matson. She's dead and done with. Dead and done with.
I'll open.
Come in.
I'll go along for the ride, Chuckles.
Me too. Anybody raise? How many, Mac?
Give me 3.
Look at them, Chuckles. Are they worth what you did to me? Are they?
3 for me.
I'll take 2.
Look at Mac. Just a racketeer. With all his money. A penny anti-racketeer. Look at Corey, at Benton.
Wake up, Chuckles. I said 3.
You asleep or something?
Snap it up. All I want is 2 cards.
Are they worth my life, Chuckles? Are they? Are they?
Chuckles.
Are they?
Oh. Sorry. How many did you want, Mac?
I said 3.
sorry. I was thinking. Cash me in, will you, fellas? I'm just spoiling your game tonight. I want to talk, Lieutenant.
Look, Matson, are you crazy enough to expect me to believe that you'd walk in here and hand me the Davis gang on a silver platter?
I got to live with myself, Lieutenant.
You got a conscience suddenly?
Yeah, maybe I have.
Look, I've been on the force 15 years. Consciences just don't grow on characters like you.
I still want to talk. I got to live with myself.
And how long do you expect to? Live, that is, after you do talk to me.
I don't know. Not very long.
Well, far be it from me to look a gift horse in the teeth. Let's have it.
Well, what do you want first? The Vic Jones deal? That was Corey Taylor and Bantam Smith. I heard Davis give the order. I saw him drive off and come back. When they missed the girl, the girl, Davis gave that job to me.
You did it, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Body?
You won't dig it up.
Got to. Why not?
Because she's got a view where I put her, Lieutenant.
Oh, I know you're nuts. A view? For a corpse?
I'm not nuts. You gotta believe me. You gotta.
The DA will send me to the booby hatch if I come to him with this.
All right. Do what you want. Only get Davis and Taylor and Smith and the rest of them. I'll show you where everything is. I'll give you the whole thing. You gotta believe me. And you can fry me anything you want. Only you gotta get them. You gotta. I can't see them walking around alive. I can't.
So you got conscience, did you, Matson? You know, maybe the best punishment we could dream up for you would be to just let you live.
Crime does not pay. Alan Baxter, who was starred as Chuckles Matson in Law of the Jungle, will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here in person is Alan Baxter.
You've just heard a story of crime and violent death, which dealt with people we can hardly call pleasant. Yet the counterparts of these people exist in everyday life and will continue to exist until the profit is taken out of their way of life, a life which obeys only its own law, the law of the jungle, kill or be killed. Mac Davis and his well-organized mob operated a gambling syndicate. Their profits came from the sucker money, the bets placed through them by otherwise decent citizens who wanted to turn an easy dollar, make a quick profit themselves. When decent citizens everywhere stop supporting this kind of organized crime, the prototypes of Mac Davis and Chuckles Matson will disappear. In other words, only people like you and me can make certain that crime does not pay.
Thank you, Alan Baxter. Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Mark B. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gart. Technical advisor is Burton B. Turtis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental.
This I believe. Robert B. Powers is a veteran law enforcement officer. After serving with the New Jersey State Police and as a deputy sheriff in New Mexico and Arizona, he was police chief of Bakersfield, California for 12 years. Later, he acted as a consultant to the American Council on Race Relations. Here is what Robert Powers believes.
For many years I searched for someone who could answer my questions. I looked everywhere, in faces and books. Lawrence of Arabia had some of the answers, so I read and reread his 7 pillars of wisdom, as well as his letters. Everything about Lawrence made him more than a hero to me. He was almost a prophet. There was only one flaw. His latter years distressed me. Why should one of his brilliance, courage, and integrity have had to end his life in obscurity, yes, and anguish, as an enlisted man in the British Air Force? One day I found myself talking about Lawrence. You know how it is when you get started and can't stop. But finally I ended with, why? Why did this have to happen to him? There was a long pause. Then a woman said, almost as if she were talking to herself, his life among the Arabs, he must have known the Quran. There's a passage which Muslims believe are the words of God, and we desire to show favor to those who are brought low in the land, and to make them spiritual leaders among men, and to make them our heirs. My question was answered. I was no longer troubled. That was 7 years ago, and since then, I've looked for answers, directions, in the holy books of all religions. In Judaism, I found a reverence I'd never known before for law. And there, too, I became aware of the dramatic effect on my life of the words, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Reading the Gospels with a new eye, I found the criterion, the reference point for individual behavior and integrity. Whereas I had lived a violent life, I quit carrying a gun, accepting the relaxing concept of non-resistance. In the Quran, I found the answers to group living and the meaning of submission to the will of God in an active as well as a passive sense. From the Zoroastrian writing, Arise, 'tis dawn, who riseth first comes first to paradise, I found new zest for work and living. From Hinduism, I learned to renounce the fruits of labor. And from Baha'i, the earth is but one country and mankind its citizens, I became aware that my prejudices had always imprisoned, never protected me. Thus I came to believe that man is an impotent, confused creature, except when he develops awareness of the Supreme Being, which awareness expands into love. That power, guidance, and security come only through this love of man for God and God for man. The universe is organized and orderly, yet every least atom is in motion. The very nature of life is movement. Consequently, there must be an organizer and a governor. When I lose my job, when my child is desperately ill, or when a friend turns against me, these incidents are not fortuitous. No, these happenings are, however painful, a significant pattern of life for me as an individual. Once as a child, I became tortured with the thought that my father might abandon me in a strange city. I told him. He said, that's impossible because of love. I couldn't leave you, Rob, if I wanted to. Love is stronger than the trace chains on a 20-mule team wagon. Man today is like that child of 50 years ago. He is terrified that God may abandon him. But if mere man's love is as strong as steel trace chains, then God's love is unbreakable. So man and mankind are safe. This I believe.
That was Robert B. Powers of Los Angeles, California. A veteran police officer, he is the author of the Saturday Evening Post series, Crime Was My Business.
Calling all detectives. All kinds of objects can tick, and I once heard a ticking that was the sound of death. That is the situation on this page from my casebook. The casebook of Jerry Browning, private detective. Every private detective knows when I, Jerry Browning, tell you that there's a time for everything, even murder. It was about 1 a.m. I'd had a hard day, gone home early, and was sound asleep when the persistent ringing of my phone yanked me awake.
Mr. Browning, you don't know me, but you've got to help me. My life is in danger. There's someone in my piano factory who...
Hello? Who is this? What's that ticking? I got no answer to my questions, but that strangling noise through the telephone earpiece spoke for itself. It sounded like only one thing: murder. I didn't waste time trying to trace the call. Instead, I dressed and headed for police headquarters. I didn't didn't have to go all the way to headquarters. The fire engines and police cars streaking through the streets toward the Olympus Piano Factory told me which way to head. The piano factory was an inferno of flames. I worked my way through the fire lines, found Police Lieutenant Dawson.
Jerry, what are you doing here?
There's somebody in the factory. He phoned me just a few minutes ago. It was almost an hour before the flames were brought under control. And by then, the piano factory was a mass of debris.
Lieutenant, there's a body over here.
Dawson and I picked our way over the still smoldering timbers.
It's the watchman, Jerry. The poor guy must have suspected something.
Dawson, I can't prove it yet, but I'd stake my life he was dead before the fire started.
Mr. Browning, your suspicions were right. This man had no smoke in his lungs. He was dead before the fire at the piano factory started.
I nodded, turned to Dawson. Have you any dope on how the fire started?
Not too much, Jerry. Police had vats of resin for waxing the piano strings and lacquers for wood finishing. Both are highly inflammable.
Who's in charge of the place, Dawson? Dawson frowned.
Well, it's kind of complicated. Come on into my office, Jerry.
The man waiting in Dawson's office was Raymond Grant.
I hurried down as soon as I heard the radio broadcast about the fire.
Are you the owner, Mr. Grant?
Oh, dear me, no, indeed. The Olympus Piano Company is a corporation with stockholders in all parts of the country. I was formerly executive secretary to Mr. Lawler, chairman of the board.
Yeah? Why did you get fired? Grant blushed.
I'm still with the company, sir. I meant that Mr. Lawler is no longer connected with it. He resigned a few days ago.
Dawson spoke up.
Where's Lawler now? Well, I'm sorry, sir. Oh.
About then, a uniformed man brought in a report from the fire marshal. No trace of arson at the factory had been found yet, but they discovered something else. The company's safe, wide open and empty. Grant's face turned a sick green.
There was $38,000 in that safe. 38 grand. We don't know how the fire started, but at least we know why.
I nodded. Mr. Grant, was the safe manually operated or on a time device?
Manually, Mr. Browning. Why?
Just wondering about that ticking I heard. The police search for Clark Lawler, the piano company's chairman of the board, started that same night. By morning, it was evident that he'd disappeared, walked out of his apartment the night before, and simply vanished.
Lawler's our man, Jerry. Got fired from a soft job, decided to clean out the company. The night watchman must have caught Lawler at the safe, so Lawler had to kill him.
That makes sense, Dawson. But what was the ticking I heard?
You were half asleep. You probably heard the clock on your own table.
Maybe. Except that there is no clock on my table. Mr. Browning, the Acme Night Patrol Service manufactures most of the clocks night watchmen use on their rounds. Our clocks record as well as tell time. No watchman worth his job would be found dead without an Acme recording clock. You don't say. Well, we found a night watchman without one, and he was dead.
Yes, Mr. Browning, the Western Employment Agency provided the night watchman for the Olympus Piano Factory. He was Angus McDowell, 62, bachelor. I understand he lived at the factory during the day.
You haven't told me anything I don't already know.
Such foolish question. You asked me what ticks, Mr. Browning. Everything ticks. Clocks, watches, gears, motors, steam pipes, keys, radios, teeth, metronomes, water faucets, firecrackers, and the brace rattling a window shutter. In my opinion, Mr. Browning, the entire universe ticks.
Thanks, Mr. Vanderwaag. You told me exactly what I need to know. I listened to the sound in a music shop, and that was it. A metronome, a small, precise time interval measuring instrument that most pianists use. That afternoon, I poked around in the ruins of Lawler's office at the burned factory, found bits of just such an instrument. Okay, so now I knew what had caused the ticking, and it wasn't the spinning of the universe. When Raymond Grant walked into Dawson's office, he acted like a bored, busy man.
You gentlemen wish to see me?
Yeah. Mr. Grant, we haven't located Mr. Lawler yet. In fact, we don't have much hope of locating him alive. But we have found the night watchman, Angus McDowell. He's in the next room. Let's go talk to him. Grant did a foolish thing. He tried to run and ran square into a husky cop guarding the door. We didn't need to produce the night watchman to make Grant confess. And a good thing, too, since we didn't have the watchman then. Grant confessed that he'd got rid of the watchman the day of the fire by getting him a job in Savannah, Georgia, at a friend's factory down there. Then Grant lured Lawler to the factory. Lawler got suspicious, called me, but too late. Grant killed him, dressed the body in the night watchman's old clothes, set the fire that reached the chemical vats, and set off the explosion. Well, we got the night watchman back to testify once we found out where he was, and that's all there was to it. I'd always suspected Grant, because I remembered Lawler's words just as clearly as the ticking. He'd said, my piano factory. And he said it like a man who really thought it was his factory. Like I said, there's a time for everything, including the moment when a killer gets his first and last look at the chair.
Listen next time to Calling All Detectives. Mystery drama, mystery quiz, and a chance for you to match wits with yours truly, Jerry Browning, Private Detective.
Murder at midnight.
This kind of glass tube was pointing at Matson's body. When the switch went in, there was a whining noise, and then a white light shot out of it. I know you won't believe this. When it hit the body, it went all soft. It was just like the bones had gone out of it. It just went all soft and kind of poured off the chair and onto the floor.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Heavy Death. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's Masters of the Macabre. Our story, written by Robert Newman, is a weird and fantastic nightmare called The Heavy Death. A road just outside the small town of Medford. And running up at his face white and terror-stricken in the moonlight is a small, slight man. He pauses every once in a while, his breath whistling in his nostrils. Listen, and then runs on again. Finally, seeing the two green lights of the state police barracks, he moans with relief. Runs in.
Thank God there's somebody here. I was afraid. Look, officer, you got to get me away from here fast.
Just a minute, Mac. Take it easy.
Easy. You'll be here any minute coming after me. I got to get away, I tell you.
And I'm telling you to take it easy. Just wait till I get through talking to Dr. Carden
Dr.
here.
Carden? Are you Dr. Carden lives in the big white house near the river?
Why, yes.
Well, then you can tell him it's true. Otherwise, you won't believe me. Nobody will. It was you who swiped the big glass thing from your laboratory.
A Geiger counter? You stole it?
Well, he made me do it.
Oh, now, whoa. This is getting interesting. That's why Dr. Carden's here. You know anything about his assistant? Young chap named Matson?
Yeah. He's dead. He killed him.
Matson? Matson dead? Hey, maybe you better start from the beginning. Tell us the whole story.
Yeah, but if Kitty, there ain't time. He'd be coming after me and... Oh, okay. Like I said, you won't believe it. My name's Sullivan. They call me Shill because I'm a come-on with Bryant's Giant Carnival. Weight guessing is my racket, but I turn my hand at almost anything, you know, shell game, 3-card monte. Well, we hit town about 10 days ago for a 3-day stand. The first 2 nights was pretty quiet. The third one was when it happened. There was a pretty fair crowd around, and I was warming him up for some weight guessing, with maybe some side bets, when he came up.
Okay, folks, okay. Step up, hurry up. And let Polcy Sullivan guess your weight.
A Cupid doll if I'm 3 pounds off either way. Now, what do you say, lady? Your weight's not like your age, you know. Ha ha! It always shows. What about you, sir? Guess your weight?
Do you really think you can?
Do I think? Ha ha! Listen to him, folks. You bet your sweet life, brother.
Oh, I have already. The question is, will you bet your sweet life?
What? What do you mean? Look, do you want me to guess your weight or not, huh?
On the terms I outlined, why, yes. I'll be glad to have you try.
Try, sissy. Okay, folks, here we go. Now, let's see. A big man, a solid man. Hefty pair of arms on him. I say, 195 pounds.
195.
And 3 pounds off either way, and you get a Cupid doll. Now, just sit right down here on the scale. There you are. Hey, what goes on here? You broke my scale.
Yes, it only goes up to 350 pounds.
300. What have you got in your pockets?
Would you like to look?
Nah. No, I don't know how you did it, but more power to you, brother. When I lose, that pay with a smile. Well, here's your Cupid.
Thank you. No, that's not what we bet.
What? What do you mean?
I think you know what I mean. The carnival closes in about an hour. I'll be waiting.
He went walking off, slow and heavy. The crowd stood around for a couple of minutes, gaping at the broken scale and talking. Then they all decided it was some kind of a gag and went on and forgot about it. For me, I couldn't forget about it. Somehow I didn't think it was a gag. There was something about him, the way he moved, the way he talked, it scared the pants off me. I hung around for a while, getting my stuff together, and then I looked up Rube Thomas. Rube's a big guy. Used to be a wrestler, and he was just closing up his Wheel of Fortune.
Hiya, Rube. How are they going?
Not bad for a one-horse town. How's it you?
Oh, not too bad. So some wise guy busted my scale.
Huh? Busted your scale?
Yeah. Well, Rube, that's why I come over. He was a queer duck. I just couldn't figure his pitch, but he said something about waiting for me when he closed up, so I thought...
So you thought maybe you should have some protection walking out of the station.
Yeah.
That's a hot one.
What is?
You're on your side bets. Well, don't worry about it. Ain't no one gonna lay a finger on you when you're with Rube Thomas.
I helped Rube take down the wheel. But even then, we were about the last to leave the fairgrounds. We went out through the main gate. It was pretty dark, but I wasn't worried anymore. I'd never yet seen anybody Rube couldn't handle. Then I heard footsteps. Slow and heavy ones. And then...
There you are. I've been waiting for you.
Yeah? No kidding?
This the guy?
Yeah,
Okay, Bub. What's the pitch? What's your racket?
Racket? There's no racket. Your friend and I had a bet. I've come to collect.
Yeah? Well, I'll tell you a funny thing about carnivals. When we pull up stakes and get ready to go, all bets is off.
I'm afraid this one can't be called off. You see, I need him.
You need him?
Yes. You bet your life, remember? And you lost.
You mean you... Oh, you're nuts.
There are people who have thought so, but I'm not. Shall we go?
No, I ain't gonna. Rube!
Take it easy, Shell. I told you all bets was off, mister. Now you gotta blow 'em, I gotta have to get rough with you.
I wouldn't if I were you.
No? Well, here's one just for luck. Oh, my hand.
I warned you.
Will you? I'll break your bloody neck.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt you.
You won't believe this. Like you probably won't believe what happened afterwards. He didn't swing or anything. He just kind of dropped his fist on Rube's head. And he smashed in his skull like it hit him with a lead pipe.
Good Lord, you killed him.
Yes. Shall we go?
No, I...
Look at me. Into my eyes. That's right. Now remember this. You're mine. Mine to do it exactly as I wish. And you do exactly what I wish. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, yes.
Good. Then let's go.
Something happened. Happened to me then and there. Something I ain't over yet. It wasn't just that I was scared, more scared than I've ever been in my life. It was something else. When I looked into his eyes, it was like that just plain didn't count. No one or nothing did. Then I just had to do whatever he wanted, whatever he said. We got in his car and drove to your place, Doc, and we stopped in front of it, and he pointed at a kind of low building behind it.
That is Dr. Carden's laboratory. And he has something there I need. A Geiger counter. You're going in and get it for me.
You mean swipe it?
Yes. It would take too much time to make one of my own, and as I said, I need it. Now, it's got a long glass tube, about this size, with filaments inside it.
Yeah, but suppose somebody sees me. Suppose somebody comes...
Carden's away in Washington with that childish atomic energy condition of theirs. There's only Matson, his assistant, and he must be sleeping. If he should try and stop you, well, you'll have to take care of him, but remember, I want that Geiger counter.
Like I said, it was like I was numb. Didn't have a mind of my own. I did it. Found an open window. Went in and got what he wanted. Brought it out to him. He didn't say a word. He just put it in the back of the car and we drove away. It was about 11:45 when we got to his place. A big rambling house at the foot of a mountain. He took me around the back to a kind of iron door and... Well, it was like out of Buck Rogers, the 25th century. Big glass tubes, dynamos, wires. He must have noticed me staring because he said...
Go ahead, look around. There's equipment here that doesn't exist anyplace else in the world.
Yeah, but what's it all for?
And if I told you, you'd be even more frightened than you are now. By the way, what's your name?
Sullivan. Sean Sullivan.
I'm Dr. Vance. Dr. Brian Vance.
Doctor?
Of nuclear physics. Without doubt, the greatest scientist in the world today. Do you know anyone else who has been able to convert most of the elements of the human body into the heavy isotopes?
Look, I don't know what you mean, but is that...
Yes. That is why not only my weight, but the entire atomic mass of my body... What's that?
Sounds like a car.
Yes, but who... Oh, Matson. He must have heard you in the laboratory, followed us.
Well, I was as quiet as I could, be honest.
There's nothing to be worried or excited about. Hello, Matson.
Vance, I should have known it was you.
Should have known what was me?
That stole our Geiger. You've done an awful lot of strange things in your career, Vance, but this time you've gone just a little too far. This time I've got you dead to rights.
I'm afraid it's just the other way around, Matson.
What do you mean? What? Vance.
You don't really think I'd let you or anyone interfere with what I'm doing, do you?
You killed him, you...
Of course. Drag him over there out of the way. There's a certain experiment I'm just about ready to try, and his body will come in very handy.
With Shil Sullivan staring at him in abject horror, Dr. Vance turns away from the body on the floor, lumbers over to one of his instruments, and begins examining it. And far away, in the town's church steeple, the clock strikes 12 for...
Murder at midnight.
And now, back to Murder at Midnight and The Heavy Death. It's just a moment later. Sergeant Rowe and Dr. Carden staring incredulously at Sullivan as he pauses for a moment in his terrifying story. Then the trooper says,
We did find Thomas's body out by the fairground, but it was an accident. Hit by a truck or something. You mean this Vance killed Madsen just like that?
Shot him without turning a hair.
It sure sounds to me like... Dr. Carden, what do you think?
I don't know, Sergeant. I do know Vance. I knew that he had a laboratory somewhere near here. And, well, it's true that he probably knows as much about nuclear physics as anyone in the world. We tried several times to get him to work with us during the war, but he laughed at us, said that what we were doing was childish.
Yes, but this other business, this changing himself, making himself heavy.
Yeah, even his voice was heavy like.
Is that possible, Doctor?
Theoretically, yes, I suppose it is. After all, Professor Urey did it with hydrogen, made heavy water. And we've done it with uranium.
Yes, but why would he want to do it? Why?
There I can only guess. For all his genius, I've always felt Vance was a little mad. It's possible he believes that by changing the atomic weight of his body, he can make it immune to disease.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. He said he was going to live forever.
Well, go on, Sullivan. What happened after that?
He made me help him do things around the laboratory. Wire and stuff like that. Seems he got tired pretty easy, and his hands was too heavy to do work that was delicate-like. Maybe that's why he needed someone else around. Finally, I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore, and I fell asleep on a cot in the corner. I don't know if he ever slept or not. If he did, I never seen him. When I woke up, it was around noon, and he had Matson's body propped up in a chair against a kind of a silver screen.
So you finally got up, eh, Sullivan? I was just going to wake you.
Yes, sir. I'm kind of hungry, sir.
Yes, food. Well, you're going to help me with a little experiment first, and then we can eat.
Yes, sir. What kind of experiment? You mean...
Why, yes. An experiment on our friend Matson's body. He won't mind. Just a little calcium transmutation. First, we switch on our alpha generator here. Then we make a few frequency adjustments.
What are you going to do?
You'll see. Over there, stand by that master switch on the converter. When I give the word...
Yes, sir.
We'll let it climb just a little higher. A little higher. Now!
Good Lord!
There's a kind of glass tube pointing at Matson's body. When I threw the switch, a white light shot out of it. And I know you won't believe this. When it hit the body, it went all soft. It was like the bones had gone out of it. It just went all soft and kind of poured off the chair onto the floor. I must have fainted or something. When I come to, Vance was standing over me, smiling.
Anything the matter, Sullivan? Don't you feel well?
Yes, sir. I'm all right. I was just... That was the most awful, most terrible thing.
Sullivan, if you were a soldier and you saw that happen to the man next to you, would you feel much like fighting after that?
What? You mean you're going to do that?
I'd advise you not to ask too many questions. We'll dispose of the rest of the body later, but now let's eat.
Like I said, it was just about a week ago. I can't really tell you what happened after that because I was in a daze most of the time. We worked, him showing me what to do, wire and solder and stuff. We ate. Sometimes he let me sleep. Then this morning it happened. I woke up at about 10. He was standing looking at this thing we've been making.
Well, Sullivan, it's finished. Just a few adjustments and we were ready to go.
Yes, sir.
I'm profoundly grateful to you for your help. I will show you how grateful in a very concrete fashion.
You mean you're going to let me go? You're going to let me
go? Really, Sullivan? That's a little foolish, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I just thought... Yeah, I guess it is. Well...
Where are you going?
Inside to fix some breakfast.
No, Sullivan, no food for you. Not today.
No food?
No, because tonight you're going to enjoy a tremendous experience. One I experienced myself several months ago. And the process is much simpler when the stomach is empty.
Process? You mean you're going to make me like you? Heavy?
Yes, Sullivan. I told you I was grateful to you and...
Oh, no, Doc. No, please, will you? For heaven's sake...
You're being rather childish. I'm not going to bother detailing what it will mean to you physiologically, the immunities it will give you. I will merely tell you that we'll do it tonight.
Getting changed to become like he was. Heavy as lead. Well, it did something to me. It was like I'd been dope hypnotized. All that time afraid to do anything to make him mad. Now I was even more scared to stay. I made out like everything was fine, and I waited. I waited and watched. Then about an hour ago, I got my chance. He went into the house to get something. He didn't lock the door. I was out like a shot, grabbed his car and started down the driveway. As I went past the house, I heard a window open.
Sullivan, come back! Come back! You'll regret this! You'll regret it!
That's the story. It was so jittery I went into a ditch just outside of town and had to run the rest of the way. I don't care whether you believe me or not, whether you think I'm nuts, what you do to me. I just want one thing. Get me away from here. Get me far away fast. Because he's going to be coming after me, I know it.
Well, I'm not saying what I think. Not yet. What about you, Dr. Carden?
I wouldn't like to say either. Knowing Vance, I believe he's capable of everything Sullivan told us. And theoretically, everything he described is possible.
I told you, I don't care whether you believe me or not. Just get me away from here.
I can't for an hour or so. Have to call Bridge and have them send down some men. Then we can really go into this. In the meantime, I'll put you in one of the detention cells. You'll be okay there.
Are they strong? Really strong?
Plenty strong enough to keep you in and anyone else out. Come on.
Sergeant! Hey, Sarge! Dr. Carden! Ain't it about time? Ain't it? Hey, can't you hear me? Sergeant! Dr. Carden!
Oh, gee, Sarge. I was starting to get a little worried. You.
Yes, Sullivan. You didn't really think you were going to get away, did you?
Oh. What are you going to do? You can't do anything. The cell door is locked.
And is it? Let's see.
There, you see. You can't break it down. You can't. It's steel.
Yes, Sullivan. But steel can be smashed if it has to be.
No.
I told you you'd regret running away, didn't I?
No. I'll come back. I'll do anything you want.
I'm afraid it's too late, Sullivan.
No.
Too late for anything but this.
Dr. Carden. Did you hear it, too?
I'm not sure. But it did sound like...
This way, quick. Good Lord. Look at that cell door. Oh, and Sullivan. His skull.
Smashed like an eggshell. Well, Sergeant?
I guess I must be nuts, too. Look, Doc. He must have just left here. If we wait for the men from Bridgeton, give him time enough to get back to his place with those blasted ray things of his, there's no telling what he'll do, how many lives he'll cost. But if we leave right now, the two of us, maybe we can get there before him, cut him off. What do you say? You game?
I'm game, Sergeant. Let's go.
That must be it. Right ahead.
The laboratory's probably running back. Well, Sergeant, the lights are on.
Yeah. Maybe he left them on when he came into town and got Sullivan. Or maybe...
No, listen. He's back. We're too late.
What in heaven's name is that?
An electrostatic generator or cyclotron. He's... Oh, good Lord. Up the mountain there. Look.
Great Scott. Looks like a hole or something. But it's moving.
A neutron beam. Disintegrating. Eating its way into the mountain. He must have found some way of harnessing...
Dr. Garden, swinging this way. Must have seen us. Come on, run.
No good, Sergeant. Seems to have a range of almost half a mile.
But eating through solid rock that way. If it hits us... You came to see just what Vance was doing, eh, Carden? Well, take a good look. The best one you'll ever take at anything. For you shall be the first to...
And did you think that you were going to get away with it, Vance?
Who's that?
Take a look at the Geiger.
Gentlemen, it's too much. Cut that down.
And what'll happen when you release the load?
I've got to cut it down. Sergeant, Sullivan.
Yeah, that's because I'm glad that you joined me. You can't do it alone. Too heavy. Too slow.
It climbs any higher. Good Lord, the generator. I've got to cut that down, too.
Dr. Garden, where are you?
Over here, Sergeant.
Are you all right?
A little shaken up, but yes, I'm all right.
Oh, the laboratory. The whole house. Look.
Yes.
What happened?
Something got out of control. Too much centrifugal force. Or the load released too suddenly, and the whole thing exploded. Now there are things that we'll never know. Except something we knew already. That science can either be man's servant or his master and his doom.
And as I stand there, gazing at the smoking ruins that were once Vance's laboratory, through the blessed silence comes the distant clang of the clock in the town's church steeple, for the second time, striking 12 for
murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death hovers like a dark cloud and the clocks strike 12 for
murder at midnight.
The part of Shill Sullivan was played by Frank Reddick. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
This, I believe. Dr. Robert Prentice Daniel, president of Virginia State College, has been an educator for over 30 years. In a way, his association with education dates back even further. He was born on the campus of the institution over which he now presides, the son of the college secretary, Charles J. Daniel. Growing up in the midst of college life must have made a strong impression on the Daniel family. 4 of Robert Daniel's brothers and sisters are also Ph.D.s, and the 5th is a Master of Arts. In addition to distinguishing himself in the field of education, Dr. Daniel has been active in religious and civic affairs. He served a term as Vice President of the National Council of the Churches of Christ in the United States, and was a member of the State Department's International Development Advisory Board. Here now the beliefs which lie behind Dr. Robert Prentice Daniel's outstanding career.
My philosophy of life emerges out of a strong parental influence and family backgrounds in which high standards were unfailingly upheld. In such a climate were nurtured the dynamic stimulation toward an education, the concepts of higher moral integrity, and a deep and abiding family idealism and solidarity which have helped to shape and fashion my life. With these as undergirding factors, it is only natural that I should believe in the worth and dignity of the human personality. The successful operation of a college, I have learned, depends not only upon the contribution and service of the professors, but also upon the faithful discharge of duty on the part of others of non-academic status. In fact, any person who performs his task faithfully renders a significant service. I believe that each leader should have the courage to stand up forthrightly for his convictions. This is a lesson that I learned first at the knees of my mother, whose prayer was that her children through life would dare to have a purpose clear and dare to make it known. That is the courage which is needed in every area of endeavor. Intellectual courage to face facts and accept conclusions of truth as revealed by critical thinking. Moral courage for the stamina to do the right thing even when strong winds of opposition are blowing. I believe in the limitless possibilities of growth and change. No circumstance is so inevitable, no habit so fixed, no requirement so imperative as to prevent a change in behavior. I've seen wastelands become productive farms, timid freshmen grow into courageous leaders, situations of social tension transformed into relationships of cooperation by relation of the spirit and by mind to do. Since today we live in one world, I believe that I should extend the horizon of my thinking so that it encompasses all areas of development and human relations. I must be interested in and concerned with what is happening all over the world, for now all problems of human relations must be considered in a wider scope than the limited perspectives of self or race or class or creed or local community. I believe also in dedication to impelling causes. No person achieves by or unto himself. Opportunities as well as innate possibilities are contributing factors to his attainment. Interest in the welfare of people, social justice and respect for human personality, and unselfish participation in community advancement are contributing elements to effective living. I believe that there is a supreme being, a divine power working in the hearts of mankind, and so I believe in the efficacy of prayer. I'm not disturbed because there are variations in theological tenets and religious convictions. Sufficient for me is belief in the Trinity of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Belief in a supreme spiritual force gives me peace of mind, tranquility of soul, and a spirit to walk humbly before my God.
They're the creed of Dr. Robert Prentice Daniel, president of Virginia State College at Petersburg, and past president of the Association of Colleges and Secondary Schools for Negroes.
What's the matter? What is it?
Another case for Nick Carter, master detective.
Yes, it's another case for that most famous of all manhunters, the detective whose ability at solving crime is unequaled in the history of detective fiction, Nick Carter, Master Detective. Tonight's curious adventure,
The Body on the Slab. For Nick Carter and the mystery of the missing husband.
But, Mrs. Wallace, people disappear every day in a big city like this. Such things are really no concern of mine. They're a matter for the police.
But, Mr. Carter, it isn't just anybody who's disappeared. It's my husband. I'll pay you anything to find him.
Well, I suppose it could do no harm to listen to the story. All right, Mr. Burnett. Where was the last place you saw him?
In a sort of saloon gambling house on West Street, down by the waterfront. A two-story house, very run down.
Wait a minute, Burnett. That wouldn't be the place that's run by a one-legged soldier they call Bill.
Oh, so you know it, do you?
Certainly do. By reputation, at least. Here. I want you to look at this picture. You recognize it?
Yes, that's the place I'm talking about.
I thought so. Mrs. Wallace, I'll take the case.
Oh, Mr. Carter, I knew you would.
Yes, I have a score to settle with that old rat with a wooden leg, and this may be my chance to do it. All right, Mr. Bennett. Let me have all the details.
Well, Vernon, that's Vernon Wallace, my friend, Vernon and I had been making a night of it, and we ended up at this Bill's place.
How did you happen to go there?
Well, Vernon had heard that it was a great place for a fast poker game, and he was determined to try it. I'd heard it was a pretty tough place, and I attempted to talk him out of it, but I couldn't do it. So about 1:30 or 2 o'clock this morning, we went down there. We were the only ones there. To make a long story short, Vernon and that old guy who owns the place got into a game, and no matter what the old guy did, Vernon won. I was afraid for him in a dive like that, and I tried to get him to quit and go home with me. But he refused. He told me to get out and leave him alone.
And Vernon hasn't been home since then.
And he hasn't been seen anywhere since then. I'm afraid that he never left that place alive.
Well, I see. The place to start looking for clues is certainly the Old Soldier's Tavern. I'm going down there tonight. I know enough tricks with cards so that I can be sure of winning. And maybe old Pegleg will try to treat me as he treated Vernon Wallace.
stranger. I gotta admit I'm licked. You broke the bank.
Yes, luck's been with me ever since I sat down here. Well, it's getting late. I've got to be getting home.
How about a drink before you go, stranger? You'll not refuse me that.
Why, no. I'll have a drink with you. But only one.
Sure. One'll be okay. Hey, Mike, 2 beers and make it snappy.
Yeah, coming up.
You won all my money tonight, stranger, but I don't harbor no ill feelings.
Nice of you.
You won fair and square, and that's all there is to it.
Here's your beers.
Here you are, stranger. Drink hearty.
Can I see a minute alone? Sure, Mike.
Excuse me, stranger. I'll be back before you can shake a stick.
That's all right. I'll enjoy my drink while you're gone.
Stranger, Mike and I've taken a fancy to you. We don't want no harm to come to you. Look, why don't you stay here all night? Mike's got an extra bed upstairs he'd be glad to let you have. Then tomorrow you can go home and nobody'll bother you.
Well, if you let me pay for the use of the room and bed, I believe I will.
Good, you're a smart man, but we couldn't take no money for doing you a favor. Here, Mike, show the gentleman his room.
Yeah, sure. Will you follow me, mister?
Sure. Go ahead. I want to get to bed. I'm tired all of a sudden.
Give me your arm, mister.
No. I'm all right. I don't need any help.
Well, I'll come along just to be sociable.
I don't want to be sociable. I just want to go to sleep this one.
Well, here's your room, mister. I'll leave a candle on the table for you.
Okay. Thanks very much. Good night, sir.
There you are, stranger. Sleep tight.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Good night. I gotta go to sleep. I'm awful tired. Well, got myself into this easy enough. Hope I'll find it as easy to get out again when the time comes. No light, but a candle. One it'll do to give me a look around. Instead of this bed. It doesn't look too comfortable. But... Oh. Blood. Let's see. The man were lying on this bed. That blood is just about where a dagger would go through his heart. The man were drunk enough or had been drugged, he'd never know what hit him. Well, let's look a little around here. I wonder what's in this closet. Locked. Well, that won't keep me out long. Not as long as I still have my keys with me. Try this one. No. This one does it. Well, this is interesting. Old clothes. Here's a vest with blood on it. And here's a shirt and a jacket. Both of them bloody. Unquestionably, these came from some of the victims. Well, nothing to do now but wait for that one-legged scoundrel and his pal to make the next move. And I guess I'll be safe if I merely sit on the edge of the bed now. Oh, yes, I won't need this candle anymore either. Now to wait for them. Oh, there they come.
You get there by
He's asleep, all right. I can hear him snoring.
Well, with the slug I put in his beard, he'd have to be either sleeping or dead.
All right. Easy does it.
Still asleep?
Yeah. You hold this light while I...
Get your hands up, both of you.
Well, I'll be...
And drop that knife you got in your hand, Bill.
How can you be awake when we...
Really very simple, Bill. Keep those hands up. I just poured that drink you gave me on the floor instead of down my throat.
What are you going to do with us?
I'm going to turn you over to the police. With the evidence of the bloody clothes in the closet and what other evidence they'll undoubtedly find when they search this place, you both should have an interesting time of it.
Why don't you kill us now and be done with it?
Because I want some information first.
Why should we tell you anything?
Because if you do, I shall probably be able to get your sentence reduced somewhat. If you don't...
I got you. What do you want to know?
Last night, a young man won all your money. He hasn't been seen since.
You mean that fellow with the little mustache?
I do. Did you murder him the way you tried to murder me?
I didn't do nothing with him. Maybe I wanted to, but I didn't.
Isn't it a fact that this chap's friend tried to get him to leave you and go home?
Yeah.
And when he wouldn't go, the friend finally went off without him?
No, that's a lie. They left here together.
What? You trying to tell me one of them didn't leave before the other?
No, they went out together.
You know where they went?
How should I know? There was a taxi waiting right outside the door here. Seemed to be waiting for them to come out. Then the guy with the money gets inside, and his friend sits in front with the driver.
Oh, his friend sat in front of the driver, huh? But you know that cab, if you saw it again?
Sure, it had a big dent in the back of the body. Painted with red lead. I've seen him around this part of the city before.
I see. Well, Bill, as soon as I can turn you and your pal over to the law, I'll have Penny find that taxi with the dent in the back. Trail seems to lead direct to him.
Nick Carter's office.
Oh, hello, Patsy. Is Penny there yet?
Penny? Who's Penny?
Oh, I forgot, Patsy. You were away yesterday when all this happened. Scotty got a rush assignment to cover the Balkan campaign for his paper, and I had to leave in a boat till it sailed last night.
Scotty gone without saying goodbye to me?
Well, he couldn't, Patsy. You weren't here. He asked me to do it for him.
Oh, Nick, I'm going to miss Scotty.
Of course, Patsy, we'll both miss him. But while he's away, I'm having Penny Eagles work on my cases with me in Scubby's place.
Who's this Penny Eagles? I never heard of him.
Oh, he's an old friend of mine. Very clever fellow. When he was younger, he was an expert forger.
How did you happen to get mixed up with him?
Well, he was accused of a murder he had nothing to do with, and he had to make it clear. Then he got interested in law enforcement, turned over a new leaf, and has gone straight ever since. You'll like him, Patsy.
I hope so.
Well, she'll be in a minute now. As soon as he shows up, have him call me at Shermore 3-1222.
Shermore 3-1222.
Right. I'll wait here for his call.
You're right, Penny. That's the taxi we're looking for. And I know that driver.
You do?
Yes. John Hagan, ex-convict and confidence man.
Friend of yours?
Hardly. Seen him in court several times, but he's never seen me. What you been doing since you've been watching him?
Well, all afternoon and the early part of this evening, he's acted like any other cabbie. Taking whatever fares he could get. But the latter part of the evening, he's been fussy about who rides in his cab.
How do you mean?
Well, I've seen several parties try to take his cab. But all he's picked up in the last 2 hours were 2 drunks, and oh, were they pie-eyed.
I see. I think I know what he's looking for, Penny. And I'm going to give him just the kind of a passenger I think he wants. Wish me luck.
But, Nick, what are you going to do?
Well, so long, old fella. I got to be getting home now. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe, huh?
Okay. So long, but don't take any wooden nickels.
Okay, pal. That's fine. Don't take a wooden nickel. I had to.
Hey, taxi, mister? Huh? Taxi?
Hey,
mister?
what do I want a taxi for? I got a car of my
A friend
own.
of yours told me to come for you and take you home.
Oh, friend of mine. Yeah. Oh, well, that's all right. It's okay. Where's the door? I can't find
Hey, what's the address, mister?
The address, it's the corner of 2nd and 5th. And don't bother me anymore, bud. I got to get me some sleep. Okay. Drive on, McDuff. And now, I'll wager it won't be towards 2nd and 5th. Wait a minute. What's that smell? Perfume? I know. That's ether. So that's the stunt. Picks up drunks who are too far gone to know what's happening, then doses them with just enough ether to put them soundly asleep. Well, it won't happen to me. If I open one of these windows a little bit, that'll keep the air clear. There. Now, Mr. Hagan, the next move is up to you. Certainly plenty deserted, way out here. Wonder how much further we're going. I better get this window shut again so he won't suspect anything. So we're near the end of our journey, huh? Very well, Mr. Hagan. I'm ready for you.
Sleeping like a babe, ain't you? Well, let's see what you got in your pockets. Then I'll dump
Make
you out.
a move, Hagan, and I'll blow your brains out.
Who the deuce are you?
I'm a detective. See this?
Oh. Well, what you want with me?
I wanted to find out what your scheme was, and I found out. Now I want you to tell me about the man you picked up at Peg Leg Bill's Tavern down on West Street last night about 3 o'clock.
Well, I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, no? Look, you waited for him outside of Bill's place. He rode in back, and his companion rode up front with you. During the ride, you gave him ether through that devilish device you've rigged up in this taxi of yours and made him unconscious.
Yeah, if you know all that, Why do you ask me? Huh?
Because there are two things I don't know. And if you want to avoid further trouble, my friend, you'll tell me. Now, first, who was the man who rode up front with you?
I don't know.
No?
No. Well, I've done a few odd jobs for him in the past, but I don't know his name. They call him the captain. He made a deal with me early last night to be outside of Bill's place about 2:30 this morning.
Can you describe him?
He's sort of an ordinary guy. About my size, maybe. He's kind of good looking if he didn't have a hunk out of one ear.
Burnett. Now, what did you do with the man who was in the back?
After I quieted him, we took him to a friend of the captain's, other side of town.
What was the address to which you took the body?
Hey, there wasn't no body. He's just as alive as you or me. We took him to 14 Wanton Place. Left him there.
All right. Get back in your cab and drive me to 2nd and 5th. Then I'm through with you, unless you've lied to me. You have, keep out of my way, or you'll go to jail for life. This is where Mrs. Wallace lives, Patsy. Well, I hope she's home.
But, Nick, what do you expect to find out here?
I don't know, Patsy. The thing that puzzles me about this case is why Burnett wanted to do away with Wallace. The bill, will you? Mm-hmm. It wasn't the money that Wallace won that tempted Burnett, because he could have taken that while Wallace was unconscious. Now there's a stronger reason.
And you hope Mrs. Wallace can throw some light on it?
I hope so, Patsy. If she can only help Burnett with...
Oh, hello, Mr. Carter. Won't you come in?
Thank you, Mrs. Wallace. May I present my assistant, Patsy Bowen?
How do you do, Miss
Hello,
Wallace?
Mrs. Wallace.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell me, Mr. Carter, have you found out anything about my husband?
Well, nothing definite, I'm sorry to say. We have learned, though, that he fell into bad hands, but we don't know what happened to him after that.
Arthur assured me you'd find out the truth if anyone could.
Arthur? Oh, you mean Mr. Burnett?
Yes. Yes, he's been so kind to me. He's done so much to cheer me up. Well, except for his kindness, I'd have gone crazy.
You've known him long, Mrs. Wallace?
All my life. We were brought up together. And then, too, he and my husband have been business partners for, the best of friends for years.
You think a great deal of him, then?
Yes, indeed. Mr. Carter, at one time, before I met Vernon, I would have married him if he'd asked me. Then I met Vernon and really fell in love with him. But even after I married Vernon, Arthur continued to be my best friend. I think very highly of him.
You're lucky to have such a friend, Mrs. Wallace.
But he could never take my husband's place. You must find Vernon, Mr. Carter.
If it's possible to find him, Nick will do it.
Yes, Mrs. Wallace. You may rely on me for that. Well, shall we be running along now, Patsy? Where did you say you're calling from, Penny?
I'm at a pay station near the house where Hagen left Wallace that night. It's owned by a queer old character they call the Weasel. He works at a crematory about a mile down the road.
I see.
Well, Hagen's story seems to be straight enough. A couple of guys in the saloon near here says they saw the Weasel and another guy carrying a man-sized bundle into the Weasel's place about daybreak a couple of mornings ago. And it hasn't come out again, as far as I can find out.
Or did you learn anything about the firm of Wallace and Burnett?
Yeah, I picked up a lot of rumors, Nick, but not many facts. Here's how it goes. Burnett ruins the firm and throws the blame on Wallace. And those who know don't think that Burnett lost much money when the firm failed, but Wallace did.
So I was right. What else?
Well, Burnett was the one who started Wallace gambling and drinking. Wallace is the nice guy, but he seems to be the weak sister. But nobody seems to know what Burnett's got against him.
Well, by putting together what Mrs. Wallace told us and what you've learned, Penny, I think I begin to see the answer. I think that...
Hold it, Nick. The guy who looks like Burnett is going into the Weasel's place.
Good. Don't let him get away from you, Penny. I'll meet you there as soon as I can.
Yep. You're right. You're right, Nick. They did bring that casket here to the crematory.
I thought they would. But I wish I could get closer and see what they did with it after they carried it inside.
Look, Nick. That window over there is open a little. Huh? Maybe we could hear something from there.
Good idea, Penny. Come on.
But quiet, yeah.
But, Weasel, are you sure they won't be suspicious?
Not a chance, Captain. That's why we're doing this tonight. The owners of the crematory are going to make a test of a new heating fixture tomorrow morning. And they told me to have the ovens hot by 10 o'clock. I'm just getting them hot a little ahead of time.
What do you use when you make a test like that?
Well, they sent me the body of a dead calf. It's over there in the closet. Yeah, but the test we're going to make tonight will be even better, Captain?
Yes. How does this thing work?
Oh, simple. The body's laid here on this slab and strapped down the way you saw me fix this fella. In the next room, there's a lever attached to the slab. When the lever's pulled, the slab slides into the oven. The door closes behind it, and the destruction of the body begins.
Do we have to watch it burn?
You can't see the slab nor the ovens from the room where the lever is.
How long does it take to reduce the body to ashes?
6 or 8 hours. It'll be all over by daylight.
Even if the body isn't...
You mean even if the body ain't dead yet?
Yes, that's what I mean.
And Wallace is still alive.
Well, it's a little unusual to cremate a live body, but it works just the same. You'll never know what happened. It'll be all over in an instant. Well, we got nothing more to do here. Might as well go in the next room and wait for the ovens to get hot enough. Then you can pull the lever and slide the body.
You mean I have to pull the lever that sends him into...
Sure. He's your friend, ain't he?
Come on, Penny. There's no time to waste. We have to work fast.
Mr. Burnett to see you, Nick.
Oh, yes. Come in, Mr. Burnett. I just want to take enough of your time to tell you that Vernon Wallace's body was found last night.
Really? Where was it?
Floating in the river. Mrs. Wallace has identified it by a ring and certain other articles found on the body.
Must have been a terrible blow to her.
She's badly broken up, naturally. But I hope to be able to console her, in part at least, for her great loss.
I'm sure you will.
Will this repay you for your trouble?
Oh, amply, Mr. Burnett. And thank you.
Good. Good day, Mr. Carter.
Good day, Mr. Burnett. But if you think I'm going to drop this case now, Mr. Burnett, you're crazy.
Nick, here I am. Over here.
I got here as soon as I could after I got your call, Penny. Brought my new helper, too, as you see.
Yeah, so I see. Hi there, helper.
Hello, Penny. I hope I'm going to be able to help you, Nick.
You'll do all right on this case. Now, what's the dope, Penny?
Well, a couple of hours ago, a taxi pulls up in front of Mrs. Wallace's house.
Mm-hmm.
The driver goes into the house. About 15 minutes later, he comes out again with Mrs. Wallace and her maid. They get in the cab, drive away.
With you after him, of course.
That's right. Well, they drive around and finally end up way out here. There must have been a couple of guys in the cab when the women got in, because when they got out there, they were both gagged and their hands were tied behind them. Well, they took them in the old house. I found a phone to call you.
Did they hurt them?
Well, not so far as I could tell.
Gee, I wish I could see what they're doing now. I hope they're all right.
Oh, Millie, this is terrible. My mouth is still sore from that dirty old cloth they used for a gag. Where do you suppose we are?
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Wallace. I've never been this far from town before.
Could you see anything out of the window?
Oh, nothing I recognize.
Oh, I should have known better than to be fooled by such a simple trick. I might have known that old Mrs. Parker couldn't be so sick she had to see us at once. Why, I saw her only the day before yesterday.
No, fooled me all right. I thought...
I hope you're comfortable, ladies.
We are not.
We certainly are not. What's the idea of bringing us here?
Well, I'll tell you. The cap says as how he's going to collect some big dough from you two.
You mean we're being held for ransom?
Yep.
Well, how much money do you want?
Well, Cap says he won't take less than $50,000.
Oh, Mrs. Wallace, we'll never get out of here.
Nonsense. He must be insane to expect me to pay him that amount of money.
Well, he says he won't take a cent less.
But he won't get it. Never.
And he's a dangerous man. You better not get him mad at you. I'll be back at 8 o'clock tonight for your answer.
Oh, he'll kill us. I know he will.
Be quiet, Millie. He won't kill us as long as he thinks there's any chance of getting the money out of us.
But what if we can't... A man at the window.
It's Mr. Burnett. Oh, Arthur. Arthur, I hoped you'd come.
Are you safe, Louise? Have they hurt you?
No, Arthur. We're both safe. But how did you ever find us?
I just climbed up the porch to the roof, then over to your window. Have they told you why they brought you here?
Yes. They want ransom. $50,000.
They'll kill us if you don't save us.
Not while I'm here. I'll see that no harm comes to you.
But what can you do? You're only one against the two of them, and they're both vicious criminals, I know. Do be careful, Arthur.
Louise, if I save you from these rats, do you think that you...
Ask me later, Arthur. Not now, please.
Very well, if you say so. Now tell me, what time are the men coming back again? Do you know?
The man we talked to said they'd be here at 8 o'clock.
That gives us just over an hour. Now, here's my plan. When they come, I'll be here...
Now, you each know what you're supposed to do, don't you?
Sure, Nick, sure. You know, this ought to be fun. I haven't played cops and robbers since I was a kid.
Same here. This should be good. Well, I hope you two aren't disappointed. But you can't tell about these things. So watch your step, both of you.
Here they are. Leave everything to me.
Well, you made up your mind to pay the ransom the cab wants?
We'll pay you nothing. Not a cent.
You know what that means, don't you?
It means that you better get your hands up, all three of you, if you want to live.
Who are you?
I'm here to save these two ladies from you and your gang.
Oh, yeah? Let him have it, fella.
Oh, I warned you.
Arthur, you've killed them all.
It's their own fault. I warned them.
Oh, you are wonderful, Arthur. Arthur, are you hurt?
No, Louise, dear. Fortune was with me. I'm not even scratched.
Oh, Mr. Burnett, I never in my whole life saw anyone so brave as you.
Any man would be brave when defending the woman he loves.
Please, Arthur, you promised.
I'm sorry. I'll take you home now. Just let me drag these bodies out of the way, and I'll...
Not yet, you won't.
You can't. What's the matter with you men? What's the idea?
Shut up, you.
Arthur, are you hurt?
Mrs. Wallace, the time has come to explain a great many things. First, let me remove this beard. There. You recognize me now, don't you?
Mr. Carter. Nick Carter. But, Mr. Carter, what are you doing to Arthur? Mr. Burnett.
I'll answer that later. First, I want you to meet my assistant, Penny Eagles.
Your assistant?
Sure. How are you?
The other man is an old friend of yours, Mrs. Wallace.
An old friend of mine?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure I don't
Perhaps
know.
if he took off his makeup, you might recognize
There. Do you know me now?
Vernon. Oh, Vernon.
Oh, Louise, my darling.
But, Vernon, Arthur told me that you...
That I was dead? Oh, yes. Arthur Burnett told you a great many things that were not true.
But, Vernon, he showed me your ring, your lodge pin. He said he took them off of your dead body that the police found in the river.
Burnett took those articles from your husband's body, right enough, Mrs. Wallace. But it was while your husband was still alive.
And it's no fault of his that I'm not dead now.
You don't mean that Arthur...
That's exactly what I do mean. He's been lying to you for years, Mrs. Wallace. It was he who ruined your husband's business and caused him to lose so much of his money. It was he who first induced your husband to drink and gamble. And it was he who was responsible for your husband's disappearance a few days ago.
That's a lie. Oh, no, it isn't. As a matter of fact, Louise, dear, if Mr. Carter hadn't fooled him by putting a dead calf in my place on that crematory slab, Arthur Burnett would have been my murderer.
Oh, no. No, that can't be true.
Furthermore, it was Burnett who arranged for your kidnapping this afternoon.
Oh, but...
He did it so that he could suddenly appear and rescue you from the members of the kidnap gang, who were in reality men in his employ.
But why should he do all these horrible things?
Because he's been in love with you ever since he first met you. And ever since your marriage to Wallace, he's been insanely jealous of him. Everything Burnett's done has been to make you despise your husband and turn instead to him.
That's a lie, Carter.
Oh, no, it isn't, Burnett. I can easily prove it. Penny, let me have the gun with which Burnett shot us during the battle a few minutes ago.
Sure, Nick. Here you are.
Thanks. Look here, Mrs. Wallace. This pistol has 8 shells in it. Burnett fired 5 shots at us, but there are still 3 shells left. And here they are.
Why, those are blanks. They couldn't hurt anybody.
Exactly, Mrs. Wallace. And the shells in the pistols that his men were to use in the fights were blanks also. And if I were a beautiful woman in distress and a man came to my rescue with his pistol loaded with blanks, I think I should find it extremely difficult to believe that he was being on the level with me.
That
is another strange experience of Nick Carter, Master Detective, called The Body on the Slab, or Nick Carter and the Mystery of the Missing Husband, another of the curious adventures of Nick Carter, which are brought to you regularly at the same time by WOR Mutual. And now, Nick, how about a few hints on next week's story?
It's a story of a body which was washed up on the beach, tied up in a sack.
And the only identifying mark on the body was one of Nick's cards.
I had to solve that murder to prove I didn't do it myself. And I found that the real culprit was the killer who used a clue that pointed directly to him to prove that he couldn't have done it.
And the killer tried to drown both Nick and myself when the chase got too warm for comfort.
But as you can easily see, he didn't succeed. So long until next week.
So long, folks.
And so long to you and Nick for now, Patsy. In the strange adventure you have just heard, Nick Carter was impersonated by Lon Clark, Patsy by Helen Choate. Original music was played by Lou White. The entire production was written and directed by Jock McGregor. Next week at the same time, listen to another curious adventure of Nick Carter entitled
The Drug Ring Murdered. For Nick Carter and the Mystery of the Left-Handed Killer.
This story is a copyrighted feature of Street & Smith Publications, Incorporated. The Return of Nick Carter is produced in the studios of WOR and is broadcast over most of these stations every Wednesday evening at 8:30 Eastern War Time. This is Mutual.
This I believe. Robert Ward McEwen studied for the ministry, but decided that he could be of greater service in teaching. His distinguished career in education would seem to justify that decision. For 10 years he taught philosophy and religion, and later served as a college librarian. For the past 4 years, he has been president of Hamilton College at Clinton, New York. Here is Dr. McEwen.
I believe in people, in the indomitable, striving, experimenting, ambitious, ongoing human race. Carl Sandburg, bard of the Midwestern valleys where I was reared, writes, "The people will stick around for a long time yet, you wait and see." Elsewhere he describes himself and other people as earthworms and riders to the moon. We are earthworms, subject to disease and death, too often cut down before our work is done. But that cannot discourage us, for we are also riders to the moon, intent on goals whose achievement we seldom live to see, forever dissatisfied with things as they are, forever dreaming dreams of things to come and building them into reality as we can. You can't live with college students for years and not believe in people, or at least in what people can become. And so I believe in a society in which people are free to develop their capabilities to the fullest extent. People are not equal, not all the same, thank goodness. But they all deserve equality of opportunity, and most of them grow under opportunity and make responsible use of it. It is because I believe in people that I get thoroughly angry when it is said that college students should be taught some one authoritarian line of thought, in politics or religion or any other field. They are not children, but young adults, freed for a few years of training in free and straight thinking, before they become leaders in a nation founded on the daring faith that the people can make decisions for themselves. I believe that people live most fully only as they think about the important things in life. The aim of education is always a human being, a man who does his share of the world's work, illumined by thinking about it, thinking that shows him its meaning in relation to the work of others, shows him where he stands on the wave of the future. Such an examined life is the life worth living, the reason for the schools and colleges I believe so important to our welfare. In all this, I assume my belief in change as well as in continuing verities. I see our human world, like our natural world, as dynamic, not static, as alive, moving, wearing out, and ever renewing itself, the changing stage on which we individuals play our part, and hope we leave a better stage for those who come on next. I can't say where or when I found this faith in people and in what they can become. It was implicit in the minister's home where I was born and reared, but I think it is implicit in America. Certainly I can point to no great moment or vivid experience that has dramatically shaped my belief, but I know it is rooted in Christianity. The center of our faith is that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, that the great God of the universe could be and was incarnate in a human being. That belief, as I see it, has inspired and inspires men to believe that earthworms can be riders to the moon, that our dreams and struggles for a nobler life lived in a better world are not the fantasies of lost children, but the privilege and duty of responsible children of God. I do not know the answers to all the riddles of the Sphinx, nor do I have beliefs about many questions that trouble my mind and the minds of others. But in what I do believe, I find light to live by.
They're the creed of Robert Ward McEwen, president of Hamilton College, one of this country's oldest and most distinguished colleges for men.
NBC presents Frank Lovejoy in Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. I guess it's the unpredictability of night that catches hold of you and takes you with it. You never know what you'll find in the night or who you'll meet and what stories they'll tell. There are as many stories as there are people. All kinds of stories and all kinds of people. Gentle stories sometimes, and where you least expect to find them, brutal stories. Hidden behind as innocent a facade as the one which fronts the Welcome Mission on Skid Row. Spender, the blind man, is both a Skid Row landmark and tradition. For years he sat cross-legged near the entrance of the Welcome Mission. And for a blind man, he sees an awful lot.
Going into the mission, are you, Randy?
Oh, maybe, Spender. You got a good memory for footsteps, haven't you?
Nothing wrong with my hearing. Everyone walks different, only they just don't know it. You always walk like you're thinking every step, like something was on your mind.
Well, don't let me kid you, Spender. It's just a pose. Is that Brother James?
Yeah. You better go see him, Randy.
Not while he's playing a recital for the faithful.
No one's in there. Never is this time of night. Too early for him. You better go in. He's in trouble.
Mission men don't get into trouble.
Go take a look. Somebody's got to help him. Maybe you can. Tell him something from me. Tell him one blind man on the street's enough.
He'll know what I mean?
Take a look at him. You'll see. A good look, Randy.
Okay, Spender.
You must look bad. Sounded awful.
The Welcome Mission was row on row of empty chairs. And Brother James, his back to me, was playing the organ. He didn't turn around when I came in. Just faced the empty music stand and kept on playing.
Join in the chorus if you know the words, brother.
I'm not in good voice tonight, Brother James.
Randy, it's good to see you again.
Well, how do you know? You haven't seen me yet.
Just the same, it's good. I know it is.
Everything going all right?
Fine, just fine. I hope things go well with you.
Thank you. But you still won't look at me.
To tell you the truth, Randy, I'm doing you a favor. I had a little accident, but I'm afraid I don't look very well.
Spender said to tell you that one blind man on the street is enough.
Spender's a good friend, but he sees too much.
He hears too much. Now, let me see. Let me take a look at you.
It isn't anything, Randy.
I turned Brother James' face toward me. One eye was partly opened, and the other was swollen shut, a painful mass of purple, blue, and green. And the welts on the side of his head stuck out like baseballs. He didn't look human. He was a beaten pulp. It made me sick.
It's a lot better now. It doesn't hurt at all.
Well, it won't until the feeling comes back. What happened? Don't tell me you bumped into a door.
I wouldn't lie to you, Randy.
And who did it and why?
Sometimes it's best to say nothing. To turn the other cheek and say nothing.
Well, if you'd turn the other cheek, you wouldn't be able to talk.
I don't expect you to understand my ways, Randy. But they are my ways. You must respect them.
Who did it? Spender said it sounded awful.
Sometimes the path of righteousness is difficult. Sometimes it's tortured and hard to understand.
Do you understand?
Yes, I think I do.
Spender says you're in trouble.
I must find some way to set his mind at ease.
Well, okay, Brother James, you know your business.
Go your way in peace, Randy.
Yeah. Thanks.
I finally find them, Brother James. 5 dozen ping-pong balls. Oh, you would not believe the trouble that... Oh.
Hello, Mama Rizzo.
Oh, Randy. I did not notice you.
Randy was just leaving, Mama Rizzo.
There is no more trouble, is there? He has not come again.
Who, Mama? What trouble?
You know, Brother James.
Everything's all right, Mama.
It's good he has not come again. Next time I will kill
Mama,
him.
please.
Who, Mama? Who will you kill and why?
Oh, no. I have said too much. I go now. I will come back later, Brother James.
Wait, Mama. Mama Rizzo took off down the street like someone had fired on her. I'd known her as a Skid Row fixture for years. Her and the pizza cart she pushed all over the west side of town. But I'd never heard her threaten to kill anyone. And I had the feeling from the way she said it, she might do it. I caught up with her halfway down the block.
Please, Randy, I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, I can tell. Look, now just hold a minute here. What's this all about?
Oh, I am too much out of breath to talk.
Well, catch your breath.
I have nothing to say.
Well, you had stuff to say back in the mission.
Oh, I should not have said it. I was excited. There was trouble, but I should have said nothing.
Who are you going to kill? The guy who beat up Brother James?
I am excited only. I not mean what I say. You must forget I said it, Randy.
Well, we'll both forget it. Now, what happened to Brother James? Who beat him up?
I do not know.
Oh, Mama.
Randy, already I say too much things to you. I like you. We are old friends. Sometimes soon I give you some pizza. But now you must leave me alone. I am very busy.
Yeah, I know. You've got 5 dozen ping-pong balls, and you went to a lot of trouble to get them.
Oh, you do not know how much...
What are you going to do with them?
They are for the mission. Recreation games.
That's a lot of recreation for an empty mission.
They are for recreation.
Who beat him up, Mama?
I do not know.
You sure?
I am sure of this, Randy. Each time you ask me, I will tell you I do not know. Now, this time I go, and you do not follow me.
Spender was wearing a knowing smile when I walked back near the mission. There wasn't any triumph in it. It was just his way of showing me he knew that I wasn't getting anywhere. Like the rest of Skid Row, Spender operated under a well-defined but peculiar set of rules. There was justice in them, but Spender was no informer. He trusted me, and I had to trust him.
Mama Rizzo isn't ready to talk, Randy.
Well, you could have saved me the 50-yard dash. I'm not in condition.
You saw Brother James?
Yeah, and he looks just like it sounded. Awful.
I thought so. It took a long time.
Well, who did it?
I don't know.
Look, Spender, you're the one who told me he was in trouble. Give me a break.
I tell you, Randy, I really don't know. It happened quick, in the alley back of the mission. I was here. No one came this way. Whoever did it went the other way when it was over. It took a long time.
Yeah, you said that. What was Brother James doing in the alley? Instinct keeps me out of all Skid Row alleys.
There's a back entrance to the mission. He went to lock up for the night a couple of nights ago. Someone was waiting for him.
A while back, you said it was too early for anyone to come to the mission. They'd come later, you said.
About 2 a.m. Everyone comes. The winos, the flops, Mama Rizzo, everybody. They troop by me and go in.
Why? What happens at 2?
I don't know, but they stay a long time. Nobody plays the organ. Nobody sings. I don't hear them after they go in the door.
Well, how long do they stay after they all go in?
Wait a minute. He'd know the whole thing.
Who?
The guy, the one just got out the car and went to the saloon across the street.
You know him?
Just his walk. He comes around here a lot lately. Once or twice he goes to the mission, but mostly he goes to the saloon across the street. They call him Mino.
Okay, I'll call him Mino, too. The saloon across the street was regulation. Dark, musky, a few tables you could stumble over if you didn't watch your step, and a few winos conveniently located. The man called Mino sat at a bar side saddle looking across the street toward the Welcome Mission. He was dressed a little sharp, big, thick-looking, with no expression in his eyes. He wasn't surprised when I sat down beside him.
Another shot, buddy. Are you drinking, buddy?
No, buddy, I'm not.
Just leave the bottle, huh? Buddy, you look like a guy with something on his mind.
Well, good for me. A friend of mine got his head beat in a couple of nights ago, Mino. You look like a guy who might know something about it.
Good for me. Well, buddy, I'd be willing to suppose a little with you about your friend.
All right, go ahead.
Let's take a real wild shot and figure your friend is the soothsayer type, huh? Maybe pumps an organ at the mission, say, and saves a soul here and there.
Let's call him Brother James.
Why not? As long as we're supposing. Now, to my way of thinking, a guy don't generally get in trouble if he sticks to his own line. But if he overlaps a little here and there, he can get himself some rough treatment. Believe me, buddy, I've seen it happen.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now, your friend, Brother James, he should stick to soul saving. That's his line. And maybe you got a line, too, buddy, huh, that you ought to stick to?
Yeah, but back to Brother James. He shouldn't get beaten up for saving souls.
Oh, you're right, buddy. Real right.
So is the competition for souls so tough a guy can get hurt in a rush?
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you something, buddy. You seem to have a lot of time on your hands. Why don't you show at the Welcome Mission along about 2 in the a.m.? Might cop yourself an eyeful.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I might do that. Yeah. This 2 o'clock date, has it got anything to do with ping pong balls?
Yeah. Everything.
2 o'clock in the morning. Both Spender and Mino called it H hour at the Welcome Mission. I had a while to wait. Time enough to figure Mino for the set of fists that softened up Brother James. I still didn't know why. But that's before I knew the Skid Row rules for ping pong. At 2 o'clock, I stood across the street and watched the flop houses and the wine parlors empty into the Welcome Mission. A little bit later, I followed the crowd. The chairs were still empty in the big room where Brother James had played the organ, but a shaft of light and some curious sounds were coming from a back room. I started for it, and suddenly there was someone at my side.
Take me along, Randy. Tell me what you see.
Sure, Spender. Only keep it low.
Big crowd, eh, Randy? Everybody, like I said.
Yeah, well, maybe they won't notice us.
All right, brothers, you've bought your cards. We'll turn the wheel again.
What's the ball is number 12.
What is it, Randy?
It's a policy wheel, Spender. Brother James is running a policy wheel. Holy Toledo, in the back of a mission.
Policy wheel? That's like the numbers, right?
It's the same deal. This is a big cylinder. Brother James grinds the handle on it, and when he stops, a ping pong ball with a number on it drops out the slot in the bottom. Mama Rizzo calls off the number, and the guys check it off on their cards.
Like
Number
bingo.
3.
Just like bingo.
Yeah, that's right, Spender. Only policy wheels are run by the syndicates. A multi-million-dollar racket.
Hold everything, brothers. We seem to have some visitors, Mama Rizzo.
Randy.
Run, Mama Rizzo. Get the book.
Someone heaved a pineapple through the window off the alley. I shoved Spender through the door, and the last thing I saw, with guys climbing over each other trying to get out, was Mama Rizzo clutching a big black book and heading out the alley entrance.
Randy Stone will be back in just a moment. Friends, if you want your child to have the best elementary schooling you can give him, won't you get a pencil and paper to take down the address I'm going to give you at the end of this message? Because of the high increase in our birth rate during and after the last war, it's estimated that by 1956 there will be some 7 million more children in elementary schools than there are now. More equipment will be needed. Textbooks, playgrounds, and above all, more elementary school teachers. For free information about how people in other communities are improving their schools, write to this address. National Citizens Commission for the Public Schools, 2 West 45th Street, New York 19, New York. And now back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
I lost Spender somewhere in the confusion. When the blast was over, I picked myself off the floor in the big main room of the mission. The place was deserted. If any of them were hurt, they took their wounds with them. All except Brother James, who might have run, except that he caught most of the blast. I called the police and went with them to the emergency hospital. After a while, Lieutenant Cass came out of Brother James' room, and I was waiting for him.
It's in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, I thought so.
Check a few things with you. What was going on down there before someone tossed a pineapple in the middle of it?
He was running a policy wheel.
This Brother James?
Yeah, in the back room of the Welcome Mission.
How about that?
Half of Skid Row was there, 20, 30 guys.
Doc says the brother looked like he got beat up. Blows on the head, bruises.
Oh, that happened a couple of nights ago, before the blast.
You had this thing pretty well cased, didn't you?
Well, I got a tip that Brother James was in trouble, that's all.
He got tipped right. He sure is.
There's a guy named Mino something mixed up in this. He was on Skid Row tonight. Probably beat Brother James up and probably tossed the bomb.
Mino. There's a Mino Victor, a low man with a racket's general punk around, son.
A big, thick guy, black hair, black eyes?
That's Mino. That all you know?
That's all I know now.
We'll pick up Mino if we can find him. You, keep in touch, huh?
Sure. Skid Row was quiet when I got back. Spender was the only familiar face in sight. We went back into the Welcome Mission and picked our way through the rubble of old bricks and splintered wood and ping-pong balls. Brother James' policy wheel had been blown to bits.
Still smells hot and powdery. Looks pretty bad, doesn't it, Randy?
That's pretty bad. It's a wonder some of us weren't killed.
They still might lose him, Brother James.
Yeah. Spender, it's cockeyed. We got a lot of elements here that just don't mix. Brother James and the policy wheel. Homemade bombs and the Welcome Mission. They just don't go together.
I heard. They went together, all right.
Yeah, I know, but I've known Brother James for 3 years. He always seemed like a right guy, a fellow who was dedicated to his work. He's done a lot of good on Skid Row, and that's not easy.
Well, you saw him running the wheel. You saw his head bashed in.
Yeah, I know, but it still doesn't make sense.
You know, Randy, sometimes I'm glad I'm a blind man. You don't have to see things you don't want to see. You can't take a man at his face value if you can't see his face.
Have you got it all figured, Spender?
No, I don't think so. Brother James is, how old would you say?
Oh, late 40s, I guess, somewhere in there.
Late 40s, and you've known him 3 years. Not very long in years to know a man.
What are you saying, Spender?
Just, how well do you know Brother James? Did you know him well on September 18, 1948?
I didn't know him at all then.
Might help if you knew him then.
September 18th, 1948. What happened then?
Smart newspaper fella like you can find that out, Randy. Maybe it's no good, but you find out for yourself.
I'll find out.
I'll be around if you need me, Randy.
Oh, how about Mama Rizzo? You seen her?
I haven't even heard her.
I'll be at the Star, Spender. If you get a line on her, give me a call. I left word at the Star Switchboard that I'd be in the library. Brooke, the keeper of the files and back issues of the paper, is a thin, fit man the color of a file for a mind and all the natural animation of a dry leaf.
September 18th, 1948. Not much of a day for news.
Yeah. Well, just get the Star for that day, will you? What I'm looking for may not qualify as big news.
Now, if you'd picked the 17th of September 48, I could have given you Count Bernadette's assassination.
No, thank you. The 18th.
The 18th, eh? Well, you know what you're looking for. Oh, seems to me there was something on the 18th.
Just get the file copy down, will you? I'll look for the story.
Had something to do with Burma. Oh, I know. They declared a state of emergency throughout Burma that day after the assassination of U Tin Tut.
Swell.
He was a former foreign minister of Burma, you know.
Oh, Rook, please, get the file copy. Your storehouse of facts impresses me, but I need the paper.
Just trying to be friendly, you know. Don't get a lot of traffic in here, especially in the overnight. Well, it gets lonely.
Well, next time I'll bring some of the boys with a poker.
No, thanks. Casino is my game. Casino or flinch? There you are.
Thanks.
Here we are. September 18, 1948. Well, it's on page 1. Oh, yeah, yes, it is. All right.
Where?
Right there. U Tin Tut assassinated. Burma declares state of emergency.
Honest, Brooke. That isn't the story I'm looking at.
Huh? Okay, it's your problem.
Yeah. What? There's a familiar. James Freeland sentenced in office racket cleanup. Contact man for syndicate receives life sentence for part in policy wheel racket. Now, that's Brother James, all right.
Oh, is it? Not much resemblance.
Well, there shouldn't be any.
Well, he couldn't be such a bad chap, because here he's going to repent, see? He'll spend his confinement repenting, and when he gets out, he'll do things differently.
Yeah, he did, too. That's exactly what he did. I'll get it, Rook. I'm expecting a call. Hello.
Spender, Randy.
Yeah, Spender.
Something's going on down here. A few minutes ago, Mino's car stopped across the street. He went up in the hotel above the spoon where you saw him.
Better call Lieutenant Cass.
I don't think so, Randy. Just know Mama Rizzo's car stopped there, too. She's up there now. You said to let you know.
Well, you keep an ear on him, Spender. I'll be right there.
You found out about Brother James?
Yeah, Spender. Thanks. Mama Rizzo's pizza cart was parked in front of the dingy hotel when I got there. I walked up the stairs. I'd passed for a desk clerk with sound asleep. He probably wouldn't have been much help anyway. And Mama Rizzo's voice from a room down the hall told me all I needed to know. I leaned against the door and the knob turned slowly.
Crazy thing. Put the rod down. Somebody get themselves.
Already you get by with too much.
Look behind you, dame. I got a buddy.
Come on. I better give me the gun. I might go off.
Randy, no.
Now, give it to me, Mama.
Randy, no. Get away.
Well, let him go. Where did you get this gun, anyway? It's a regular blunderbuss.
Oh, you are the blunderbuss. Why you do this? For hours I'm looking for this Mino. Finally I find him, and then you come. Why you do this?
Don't worry about Mino. The cops will get him. They're all looking for him.
Oh, if he kill Brother James, I will kill him.
Brother James isn't dead yet.
Oh, you know who he is. No. He's from the syndicate. They got their own way.
It doesn't matter what he runs away from. It's a racket. It's illegal. You and the rest of the poor chumps along Skid Row go for it just because Brother James plays runs the mission. He was convicted and sentenced. Did you know that?
He's a gentleman. He'll do good. Here, in this book, it shows he'll do good.
Oh, this is the book you died for just before the mission blew up. Let me take a look at that.
No, you will not see the book. No one will see it.
I better have it, Mama. There, now, that's all right now. That's better. Now, let's see all the good that's in this book.
Oh, I do not think I like you very much, Randy.
I don't like much about the whole deal, Mama Rizzo. Not much at all. Oh, yes, there's a lot of good here. You know what this is? This is an elaborate record by the day with totals by the week. A Brother James take from every one of the suckers on Skid Row.
You do not understand.
Nickels, dimes, 20 cents here, 35 cents there. It adds up, Mama. 20, 30 guys playing the game a night, that's hundreds of dollars in a week.
Oh, no.
What do you mean I don't understand? Mama Rizzo was crying when I left, and there was nothing to do but let her cry and take Brother James Ledger with me back to the emergency hospital. Lieutenant Cass and I looked it over good. Next to a signed confession, it looked like all he needed to send Brother James out for quite a while.
Well, it's on there. Funny you keep a set of books on it, though. Down to the last penny this way.
Well, the whole thing's a little funny, Lieutenant, but let's face it, a mission man who runs a policy wheel is apt to do some pretty funny things.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
Better than he should be. Came around a little while ago. Had a few words with him.
Like what?
Well, like he wanted to know if anyone else was hurt. Especially asked about this Mama Rizzo character. Said he guessed he'd done wrong, that he was going to repent.
Well, he was going to repent the last time. You think I could talk to him and take the book here and talk to him?
Sure, go ahead. He'll be here a while. I'll get the full story later.
You say you've brought the book with you, Randy?
Yeah, right here.
You've shown it to the lieutenant, I suppose.
Sure.
That's good. I'm glad. I feel much better now.
Well, how about inside? Don't you feel a little crummy inside for taking in those characters on Skid Row? That's pretty crummy using the mission as a front.
I suppose it's hard for you to understand, Randy. But a man must work with the tools at hand. At work, he knows.
Well, you were faithful enough to your tools. Policy wheels are all friends of yours.
You see, you don't understand. I thought the book would make you understand.
What, the ledger? It did.
Don't you see, Randy? I built the wheel to protect the men on Skid Row. From themselves and from the syndicate. I couldn't keep them from playing the policy wheel. Mino had a big hold on them.
So you built your own and went in business for yourself?
Not for myself. For the men. My policy wheel worked a little different than Mino's. That's what it shows in the ledger. The figures there are not what the men paid me, but what I paid them.
You paid them money?
Not money very often. Money buys wine. No, Randy. I paid them in food. Overcoats in the winter. Doctor bills, that sort of thing. I guess you'd call it a sort of mutual benefit society.
Well, I'd like to believe that.
Ask the men. Ask Mama Rizzo. Perhaps I was wrong using the means I did. But a man does what he can, Randy. In his own way.
It was wild, but it was true. Lieutenant Cass and I checked every Skid Row bum in the ledger. Cass will probably get the charge against Brother James dropped by the time he gets out of the hospital. Mino's a cinch to serve a little time if anyone can prove he tossed the pineapple. But the big boys, the well-tailored gents who sit on top of the Minos and run the multi-million-dollar numbers games and syndicates, the good chance is they'll just go rolling along. If you find it hard to stomach a mission man running a wheel for the benefit of the down and outers, try thinking a while about what the big boys get by with and see how that sets in your stomach. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis. Tonight's story was written by Kathleen Height, with music by Robert Armbruster. Featured in tonight's cast were Tudor Owen, Jeff Corey, Bonnie Barrett, and Frank Lovejoy appeared with the courtesy of Warner, producers of The Miracle of Our Lady of Fatima. Listen next week at this time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. Night Beat came to you from Hollywood. They are returning soon. Here, McGee and Polly on NBC.
This, I believe. Dr. Rockwell D. Hunt, a lifelong Californian and the son of pioneer parents, is one of his state's most eminent historians and educators. In the more than 60 years since he started teaching, he has written over a dozen books and many articles, as well as inspiring several generations of college students. This is Rockwell Hunt's time-tested creed.
I am in my 86th year. Never in my long career as an educator have I had more life interests. My own individuality sets me apart from every other human being. I am not entirely like anybody else. I believe that it is only by being my best self that I can make my best contribution in life. While distinctly limited by my own finiteness, I have been endowed with the power of apprehending infinity, though but vaguely and imperfectly. Whether I consider the vastness of astronomical space or the minuteness of the atom, I seem to catch fleeting glimpses of infinitude. I believe in God, all-wise creator of all things. It is not given me to understand him fully, or to limit him in terms of human thought or dimensions. Measured by my own finiteness, he would not be the supreme ruler of the universe I conceive him to be. God would not be God. By faith, the horizon of my vision, the circle of my thought, may be so expanded as to embrace the idea of the true Creator who holds the scepter of omnipotence. I believe in the compulsive force of intellectual integrity as a prerequisite to the truth that can give me real freedom. In a moral universe in which one truth cannot be at war with another truth, complete intellectual and spiritual integrity transcends all man-made creeds and formulated opinions of groups or denominations. I believe that through faith and devoted endeavor, I may attain a state of poise and serenity of spirit under the most adverse and inhospitable conditions and circumstances. This I deem essential to complete self-mastery. Being a responsible man, I have always had a continuing sense of mission in life. It follows that as an individual, I am not bound to conform in all particulars to the common motives of the community when such conformance violates my own sense of right. The final mandate does not issue from the insidious words, "everybody does it," but is a still, small voice of my own conscience. I believe that sufficient time will be vouchsafed to me fully to obey every call of duty, since duties never conflict, and neither nature nor providence demands the impossible of me. If I actually have not time for something I'd like to do, then that cannot be my duty. It is only by the absence of inner conflicts that I can accomplish all the things I'm called upon to do. Therefore, I believe that the full application of my resources is a prerequisite to optimum service, an obvious impossibility if I'm not at peace with myself. In my heart I have no room for bitterness or vengeance, which are poisons to the soul. Hatred is an emotional liability. I accept the ancient maxim, the best way to avenge a wrong is not to repeat the offense. I believe this to be a friendly universe, governed by law and order. I cannot annul the laws of nature, but I may injure or destroy myself by doing violence to its established laws. I believe that through faith I may to some degree be a humble partaker of the power, the spirit, and the character of the Creator of all things. That, to me, is the essence of manhood.
That was Dr. Rockwell D. Hunt of Stockton, California. He is Dean Emeritus of the University of California's Graduate School and a distinguished historian and author. He now heads the California History Foundation.
The makers of Camel Cigarettes present Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective.
How mild can a cigarette be? One puff won't tell you. One sniff won't tell you. It takes day in, day out smoking to find out how mild a cigarette is, how well it agrees with your throat. Make the sensible cigarette test. Smoke only Camels for 30 days, and you'll see just how mild a cigarette can be. Here transcribed is Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Diamond Detective Agency. Diamond, that's the girl's best friend, you know.
Not this girl anymore.
Oh, Helen, hi.
Hi, you stinker. Where were you all day yesterday?
Oh, well, you'll never guess what happened.
No.
9 o'clock City Hall. They told me I have to renew my license. Cost $200.
Go on, I'm listening, but I'm not sympathetic.
10 o'clock, my bank. Withdrew $2.35. The wad.
Well, big oaks from Little Acorns Grove.
Exactly, that was the idea. So 11 o'clock, my brokers. Pawn, that is. Deposited typewriter, watch, ring. 1:30, Louis' barbershop.
A lie? You had a haircut 2 days ago?
And I was trimmed again. Louis' tip on the 7th should have been read backwards.
Rick, do you mean you still haven't renewed your license and you lost all the money you raised on your things?
Honey, not only that, I lost a lot of faith in Louis. What I need is a good client with $200, and I... Oh. This might be the one. She's wearing mink. And she's got nice black eyes.
Rick, I'll loan you $200. Tell her to take her eyes somewhere else.
Sorry, honey. The eyes had it. Bye. Well, may I help you?
Is your name Richard Dunn?
I'm thinking of changing it to Richard Zircon, but what can I do for you?
Will you work for me, please? Here. $300.
Lady, I'll die for you.
He was always so nice. Then this morning I met him at the house for coffee and told him when I found out.
Suppose you start from the beginning, and we'll see what we can do about him. Sit down.
I don't know how I could be so stupid. They were just using me. I've made a terrible mistake.
We all make mistakes.
I'm in desperate trouble, Mr. Diamond.
What's wrong with you? You're shivering.
Cab. All the way from Brooklyn. It hurts.
What is it? What?
Help me, Mr. Diamond. Please. Please. Help me.
She fell into my arms, carrying at her stomach, as if she'd just swallowed hot egg. She was still trying to talk when I let her down to the floor and ran out for some water. When I came back 5 seconds later, she was unconscious. And in another 5 seconds, she was dead.
If it ain't Richard Diamond, defective detective.
And your name, Sonny?
Why, it's me, Otis, Sergeant Otis. You know me, Rick.
Oh, yes, Sergeant Otis. I didn't recognize you there for a minute. You had an intelligent look on your face.
Oh, you think that's funny, don't you? Well, let me tell you something really funny.
Well, do.
Personnel Division tells me if you don't get up $200 by midnight, you're going to be an ex-private detective.
One of the reasons why I'm here, Otis, old buddy. Now, on your lunch hour, trot up to personnel and tell them about the color of this.
Where'd you get all the scratch?
For my client.
But she's dead.
Well, go ahead, say it. She's dead. But dead or alive, she hired me and paid me, and I'm still working for her. Here. You can take it upstairs and cover my license fee for me.
Oh, all right.
Now, try to smile through those tears. There you are. 200. All counted. You won't have to take off your shoes.
Okay, I'll take it up for you. Hey, about that dame, Diamond. You know I gotta see you.
Otis, there's smoke coming out of your ears. I told you that would happen if you ever tried to think for yourself. Now, where's Levinson?
Lieutenant's across the hall in the medical examiner's office. I'll go get him.
Never mind, I'll do it myself. You might lose your way.
Oh,
hello, Rick. Glad you dropped by.
Hi, Walt. What did you find out about the girl?
Medics just finished with her. It was xylitol killed her.
Xylitol? That's new to me.
It's a drug. Petrol-based. Been in her stomach about an hour. Judging from the way she acted and talked, it could have been suicide.
What's her name?
Haven't made it yet.
Don't know who she is. She needs some new talent around here, Walt.
Well, there's no identification. Prints haven't lined up with anything yet. Too bad, huh? Real nice-looking kid.
I agreed. She was a nice-looking kid. The kind you wait all year long to ask to the senior prom. Watching her die that morning hadn't been easy. It was like standing helpless in the middle of a sudden blizzard that wipes out the flowers of an early spring. When I got back to my office, I was still wondering who she was and how I could help her.
Hi, Ricky boy. I've been waiting for you.
Oh, hello, Bridgie. Isn't it a little late in the day to be cleaning up my office?
I finished swabbing it down a few minutes ago. I was just waiting to get...
Sorry, Bridgie. No canasta this afternoon. Don't feel like it.
Me neither. Got to take my banjo lesson in half an hour. Waited around to give you this.
What,
Found this purse lying in your wastebasket. One of your girlies must have knocked it off the edge of your bed.
Give it to me, will you?
Maybe that wasn't the mink coat I seen come in this morning.
It was hers, all right. The faint, sweet odor of her perfume still clung to it. But it wasn't the lipstick, comb, small change, and key that made it so heavy. It was the .32 revolver inside, 3 bullets recently fired. A driver's license told me her name was Doris Romano, and it gave an address. Nobody was home. The lady next door dropped her mop long enough to wheeze out where Mr. Romano worked. I twisted my way down an iron stairway into a furnace room. Doris Romano's father was taking huge bites out of a coal pile with an outsized shovel. I told him his daughter was dead. He slammed the furnace door and threw down the shovel.
I know someday I would do this. You look like a nice young man, like my 2 daughters once nice young ladies. They went away from me a long time ago, and I'm left here. There was nothing I could do. There is nothing I can do. It's as if they never were. It's better that I go on shoveling until there is no more coal and I die too. I'm better dead.
I took Mr. Romano down to the coroner's office, and he identified her body. Later, I told Walt about the purse and turned it over to him. Everything but the .32 and the key. Maybe it was the wrong way to play it, but somehow I felt I could still give Doris Romano the help she'd wanted. She said that she had taken a taxi from Brooklyn. So Diamond went to Brooklyn. I don't know how many cab stands there are in Brooklyn, but I can tell you where you can find 104 of them.
Sorry, Bud, I got a fare.
Where, under the floorboards?
In there, eating.
I'm looking for information. Here.
Gumboots, huh? Who's getting cheated?
Did you carry a brunette in a mink coat all the way to Manhattan sometime this morning?
Maybe.
Where'd you pick her up?
Brooklyn, house on M Street.
What house?
How's a little all expense account?
Well, here's a fin.
Oh, no.
That's all there is. Only one to a customer.
Okay, I'll tell you about the house, but I won't tell you about the guy.
What guy?
You sure only one to a customer?
Let's say we had a change in management. Okay, now tell me about the guy.
Tall, dark-haired, blue suit kind. He was sort of chasing her when she climbed into me cab. Looked like a mess.
With spring still 2 months away? Come on, take me to the house.
It's the gray one, 900 block. Find it yourself like I told you. I got a fare.
I found the house easy enough. There was a for sale sign on it. The door was locked, so I walked around and back and peeked in the kitchen window. Then I remembered I still had the key that had been in Doris's purse. It worked. Inside, the odor of tar or printer's ink or something along those lines hit me. I was just starting to sniff around when a tall blue suit eased himself in through the kitchen door. He looked at me like I was breathing some air that belonged to him.
You could use your GI loan. You ought to buy it. It's a real steal.
No, thanks. I'm just looking.
Well, we charge for that, too.
No. Well, I don't think she'd like it.
Your wife?
No. Just a girl in a mink coat. Name of Doris Romano.
Where'd you get the key to this house?
From her. It was in her will. She's dead.
I'll get my black suit pressed.
I met a cab driver who says he knows you. Said you were doing a chase scene with Doris Romano early this morning.
Mister, when I chase a girl, I catch her.
I suppose you've got a name.
Yeah, it's Joe Riley. I own this house, so if you're a buyer, okay. If not, cop a heel.
Well, I'm not a buyer.
Then blow.
Oh, I didn't know Lugers came that big.
Mm-hmm. And they make holes to match.
Yeah, I imagine so.
All right, Pilgrim, you got a name?
For me or you?
School isn't out yet. Just answer.
Well, there's Richard Diamond, private detective. She came to my office this morning.
What'd she have to say?
Nothing. She died of poisoning before she could say anything.
And the police?
They have her body and identification.
Well, goody for them. That all?
There's still you.
Any cop who wants me can find me listed in the book. I got a permit for this gun, and I haven't got a record. You see, Diamond, I could blow your head off for trespassing. But I'm a real nice guy, so just get out and forget you saw me.
Well, that won't be hard. Half an hour later, I picked up the evening paper, and the lead story stuck out like a white derby on an undertaker. It was about an unidentified man pulled out of the river that afternoon. The coroner had picked 3 .32 slugs out of him.
What is it, Rick?
Well, about this guy they pulled out of the river. Anything on him?
Why?
No, just curiosity.
It's a terrible thing. Not just 3 .32 slugs, but they'd been filed down the center.
Dum-dums?
Dum-dums. Tore the poor guy all apart. Everybody in the department's plenty sore. You want to see the body?
Some of the time. I know what it would look like. As I left Walt's office, I felt like I was standing on a trap door, and the warden had just smiled at the hangman. But I had to take Doris Romano's .32 out of my pocket and look at it. The 3 remaining bullets were all filed right down the center. Dum-dum. Everybody had a right to be sore, especially me.
Before we continue with Richard Diamond, here are a few words about smoking enjoyment.
More people smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
That's right. More people smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
You'll find the reason in 2 words: flavor and mildness. No other cigarette has Camel's rich, full flavor. The flavor of costly tobaccos, properly aged and expertly blended.
And no other cigarette gives you this proof of mildness. In a coast-to-coast test of hundreds of people who smoked only Camels for 30 days, noted throat specialists reported not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels.
Singing stars know the importance of mildness in a cigarette, and that's why so many of them smoke Camels. Ezio Pinza, Nadine Connor, Patrice Munsell, Mario Lanza are a few of the operatic stars who choose Camels every time.
Friends, make the sensible cigarette test. Make your own Camel 30-day test and see how mild, how flavorful, how enjoyable a cigarette can be.
How mild, how mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test and you'll see. Smoke Camels and see.
And now, back to Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
It was hard to picture my angel-faced client pumping dum-dum bullets into some guy and tossing him in the drink, but that's the way it looked. I had no choice but to turn the gun and bullets over to Lieutenant Walt Levinson for investigation. And the aftermath was something only a hurricane would understand. He acted like an historian who'd caught George Washington telling a lie.
Well, I guess this kind of proves who knows what who was talking about, doesn't it, Rick?
All right, so who's on first? Want me to tell you what's on second?
I don't want you to tell me anything because I know everything now.
You know, they could use you in some very high official circles.
Go ahead, make jokes.
I didn't know I had.
A man is found in the river with dum-dum bullets in him. She's carrying the gun that did it. Her fingerprints were on it. And then she commits suicide. Remorse.
Ah, baloney. Why did she come to my office to die? Why, when she didn't even know me, was I the last person on the earth she chose to see if she committed suicide?
Dames in love want to make a big show. Publicity. Go out with a 3-column spread.
Then why didn't she drop dead on the city desk of the Graphic? They'd have printed the story in real blood. Hers.
You were a lot closer than the Graphic.
Now, Walt, I'm going to explain this to you patiently.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen women of every kind. Hard, soft, sweet, warm, cheap, treacherous, mean. But I've never known a woman to lie in your arms dying, look up at you, with the most innocent black eyes in the world, and ask you to help her after she had just come fresh from killing a man.
Psychology, I don't know. But evidence, I do.
If she went to all that trouble to get rid of the body, why didn't she get rid of the gun, too?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, Walt, this is the sweetest double-cross since the three-way stretch. Somebody planted that gun on her. Now, if you can keep it out of the papers, somebody's going to wonder why the gun wasn't found and come looking for it. Will you give that theory a try?
And I suppose you'll be waiting for them with a butterfly net.
I'll be waiting for them with a picture of that girl's black eyes in the back of my head. What do you say?
Well...
Thanks, Walt. Personnel told me that the gun had been purchased by American Trust and Loan Company in 1941 and permitted to a bank messenger named Dale F. Bronson. The address was an apartment on 63rd Street. When I saw all the expensive cars out in front, I was thinking I should have been a bank messenger. When she answered the door, I knew it. Pure gold.
Well, hello. Tall, aren't you?
Well, I do my best. Somehow I knew you'd belong to one of those cars out in front. Which one?
Longest low convertible. What can I do for you?
Oh, well, I'll rephrase the answer. I'd like to talk inside.
Terribly early for me to receive strangers.
Oh, well, I sent my hourglass to the Sahara for a checkup. Besides, my watch is broken.
Come on in. I'll see if I can fix it. I'm great with a swift movement.
It shows. Are you Mrs. Bronson?
Yes, and my name's Kitty.
Kitty? Oh, nice. It's too bad I have to say this, but I'd like to see your husband. Preferably before he sees me and draws the right conclusion.
He's not here.
Expect him?
You're going to love this. No.
Where is he?
He's at a place where nothing matters anymore. Cemetery.
Sorry.
Don't be. He stuck his neck out and tried to be a hero one day. Somebody shot him and stole the money he was carrying.
You don't seem to miss him much.
I'm still wearing black.
Right color, Kitty, but wrong cut.
It's a new philosophy I've worked out.
I understand he worked for the American Trust and Loan. They bought him a gun.
Don't tell me you're here to talk about guns. Who sent you? Field and Stream?
Well, this is sort of a collector's item. Recognize him?
No, should I?
It belonged to your husband.
You say it was my husband? I suppose it was. I don't know for sure. We only stayed together a year. He had a lot of things.
After he was killed, what happened to those things?
I don't know. He moved in with his mother. She probably disposed of them.
I'd like to talk to his mother. Where could I find her?
This just isn't your night. She's in the cemetery. Next to him. Heart failure.
Well, I'll wash up, get my pay, and go home.
Just who are you?
Richard Diamond. You can call me Richard Diamond.
Detective?
Fridays.
Arrest me.
Not until you commit a felony. This is only a misdemeanor.
You're a sergeant?
5-star general. Run my own outfit.
Come here. My application for the auxiliary. Pass.
Fail. If we ever open a recreation center, I'll let you know. Outside, where things were milder, I lit up a Camel and tried to think of something smart. Then I began looking around for a cab. And that was my first mistake. 2 bulky forms slid in behind me, and we walked Indian file for a few steps. When we reached the alley, I turned around to see who it might be. Ooh! That was my second mistake. I didn't have time to make any more.
All right, Rennie. Drag him down this alley. Now, prop him up against the wall. I hope we don't chip none of these bricks with his head. Hey, Diamond, I know it's hard for you to see right now, but can you hear me?
You got a lot of punch in that delivery.
Do you get it?
If I didn't get it before, I just got it then.
Yeah. I just got one thing to say. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Mind your own business.
I went out of business about 2 punches later. And an ice age later, a yellow cat with one bad eye began licking my face. I guess he thought I was something left over from Toots Shores. When I dissolved back in, I was lying on a soft, white bed in Police Emergency Hospital. Lieutenant Walt Levinson was leaning over me. He looked sad and puzzled, like he was trying to pick a lock with a wet hair.
Rick, it's me.
Oh, I can hear you, Walt. You've got a mouthful of firecrackers.
One of the radio cars found you lying in an alley. What happened?
Oh, that's a bright question. Will I even rate a little sympathy?
Why should you? 9 times out of 10 you ask for it.
And get it. Now, look, Walt, there's an irritated tone in your voice that isn't on a scale. Ask somebody to give me my pants, will you?
You can't walk out of here in your condition.
I got work to do. My client still has a bad name.
Yeah, it's even worse now.
You know, besides being overconfident, you're overconfident.
Rick, that body with the dum-dum's been identified. His name's Sam Gulliver, Treasury agent.
Treasury agent?
Yeah, he'd been after your client for a couple of months for passing bad money. Looks like he moved in to make the pinch and she shot him.
Bad money? Bad money? Oh, Walt, what time is it?
11:45. Why?
Well, I guess I'm 15 minutes away from being out of business. I used her dough to renew my license fee.
Well, I'd pay it for you myself if you could tell me who she'd been working with.
Dig, Walt. I know a gray house in Brooklyn that just reeks of printer's ink. And I know a guy named Joe Riley who's probably got some skin knuckles.
Oh?
Well, do I get my pants now? I filled Walt in with some of the details on our way over there. He took it pretty hard. But the thought of talking to a live suspect thrilled him. I knew it would. We slipped down the alley and back at the place and cut our lights. The house was dark and quiet. No one stopped us when we let ourselves in the basement door. The smell of printer's ink was still strong.
Throw the flash over there against that wall, Rick.
Hey. The whole basement full of evidence. Plates, prints, machinery.
You hit it, Rick. Now all we need is Riley.
Just above us, the whole world began to explode. I took the stairs 3 at a time, Walt right behind me. We ran to the front of the house, and from the window we saw a long, low convertible that looked familiar, streaking from the curb. I was making a lunge through the doorway when I tripped over a former acquaintance.
Hi, Nosy. How's tricks?
Riley.
You must be made out of rubber. I thought I bounced you for at least 20 hours so we could get...
I'll get an ambulance, Rick.
No hurry, Walt. You wouldn't know the difference.
I may get a pickup out on that car we just saw pull away.
I bet I find it before you do.
Huh?
You got a corpse here, Walt. Let me have my fun. I used the cab to get back over to 63rd Street. The same kind of expensive cars were still parked out in front. Only one of them, a long, low convertible, had a very hot radiator.
Oh, it's you.
Tell me how tall I am, Kitty.
Well, I'd love to, but not right now.
I was kind of hoping we could have a drink. Got any hemlock?
I said later. I'm really tired.
I said now.
Well, you are eager. What do you want?
A poor dumb kid who knew she'd been used asked me to help her this morning. just before she dropped dead, and I'm helping her.
I just happen to be fresh out of medals.
You shot Joe Riley less than half an hour ago. Now, don't reach for it, lady. I'd like a good excuse.
Let me go.
Doris Romano didn't know she was passing bad money for you and your boyfriend, Riley. When the agent tried to make the arrest, either you or Riley shot him. And then Doris knew the whole setup. And you knew she was scared.
Joe Riley poisoned her. I didn't do it. I didn't want him to do it, and he was dumb enough to think it was clever to plant the gun in her purse.
But you didn't kill Riley for being so dumb. You had a better reason, Kitty. I talked to a coal shoveler in a basement this morning. He was bitter about both his daughters going wrong. One of them was Doris. The other was you. Those black eyes give you away right now.
All right. Look, I have a lot of money. Real money. Good money. Enough for two of us. We could do anything and go anywhere. Be a chance to stop gumshoeing around and be somebody. And Ricky, you know how I am. I can be nice. Awful nice.
That's what scares me, Kitty.
Now listen to me. They'll send me to prison. I'll grow old and ugly there.
If you're lucky.
Oh, please. Please let me go. I'll give you all the money. I'll do anything. Please. Please help me.
You know, lady, for a minute you sounded just like your sister.
Dick Powell will return in just a minute.
In a repeated nationwide survey, doctors in every branch of medicine have been asked this question.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
Again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Friends, try Camels and see why so many people say, once a Camel smoker, always a Camel smoker.
How mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel's 30-day test, and you'll see. Smoke Camel and see.
Here's Dick Powell with a special message.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, any way that we can help make the lives of our hospitalized servicemen and veterans happier is always gratifying. The way the Camel cigarette people have been doing it is with gift cigarettes sent to service hospitals around the country and overseas. This week, the Camels go to Veterans Hospitals, Roanoke, Virginia, and Northport, New York. U.S. Air Force Hospital, Alaskan Air Command. U.S. Naval Hospital, St. Albans, New York. The Camel people have now sent more than 194 million cigarettes to servicemen, servicewomen, and veterans. Now, until next week, enjoy Camels. I always do.
Dick Powell can now be seen in the RKO picture Cry Danger. Tonight's adventure of Richard Diamond was written by John Michael Hayes and E. Jack Newman with music by Frank Worth. Our director is Helen Mack. Featured in the cast were Virginia Gregg, Wilms Herbert, and Arthur Q. Bryan.
Men, pack your pipes with Prince Albert, the national joy smoke. PA's choice tobacco is rich and flavorful with a fine natural aroma. It's crimp cut for smooth, even burning, and specially treated to ensure against tongue bite. Get Prince Albert, America's largest selling smoking tobacco.
Listen next week for another exciting transcribed adventure of Richard Diamond, starring Dick Powell. This is your FBI. The official broadcast from the files of the FBI follows immediately. Stay tuned. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the American Broadcasting Company.
This I Believe. Roger Angell is associate editor of Holiday Magazine and a frequent contributor of fiction to the New Yorker. His short stories have been included in several anthologies. During World War II, Roger Angell spent 4 years in the Air Force and helped edit the GI publication Brief. He lives with his wife and 2 daughters in Palisades, New York. This is Roger Angell's creed.
I state what I believe with seriousness, but with many doubts.
I have doubts because I am still a young man, and sureness in the young is unwise and unbecoming. And this is not, it seems to me, a time of certainty, of faiths easily espoused and firmly held. I suspect that this is a good thing, because I am a great believer in skepticism. I think that a man should grasp a belief warily and carry it gingerly. He should always be ready to test its worth against experience, and to abandon it without regret if it begins to look ugly, expensive, or cumbersome. I am, as I said, a young man. I cannot look back, as the generation just ahead of me can, to a quieter and less nervous world. Ever since I can remember, my world has been the one we all know so well today, a place of war and of fear of war, a place of incredible speed and incredible change, a world where the most incredible event of all has been our horrified realization of our own weakness, our lack of civilization, our ignorance, and the inhuman violence which we, human beings, are capable of. If this world is not a jungle, it is often as dark as one and as frightening. Before too many years, I am afraid, there will be few of us left who will be able to remember a time of stability and accepted values, accepted peace. And yet, even when this happens, I will refuse to believe that this state of cruelty and fright must be a permanent one, that this is the best which man can attain. I will insist then, as I do now, that man is capable of the heights, that he is, with infinite slowness and infinite mistakes, edging out of the darkness. I believe it is a mistake to take ourselves too seriously as fully developed, fully rational, modern men. It is only dark now, I think, because we are still in a primeval place. All our history, our true greatness, our civilization lie ahead of us. I believe in mankind. I base my belief somewhat upon history. I base it more on man himself as I see him. Once in a while, in my dealings with other men, an astonishing thing happens, something I cannot get out of my head. Suddenly I see straight into a man and find, to my shock, only myself there. This is a rare moment because men do not often give themselves away, only by accident or in times of great pain and happiness. In that moment, if I dare to look, I see in any man my own desires, my deeply hidden beliefs, my need for love, my inner seriousness, and my hope. This moment is a lightning flash in an unlit room that suddenly illuminates all. After it is gone, I still see, pressed on my eyes for a few instants, the shape, the bright highlights, and the true vivid colors of the dark room in which I sit. In that moment, the dignity of man is an almost visible thing. Finally, I am a believer in children. I love children, it seems to me, because they have not yet learned to hide their humanity, to protect it behind words and customs and lonely fears and suspicions. I love it in them because it is visible, and seeing it, I make great plans for them and for all mankind.
Those the beliefs of author and editor Roger Angell. He bases his confident hopes for the future upon a deep and sympathetic understanding of his fellow man.
Mr. District Attorney, starring David Bryan. Mr. District Attorney, champion of the people, defender of truth, guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And it shall be my duty as district attorney not only to prosecute to the limit of the law all persons accused of crimes perpetrated within this county, but to defend with equal vigor the rights and privileges of all its citizens. This is David Bryan. In a moment, we'll bring you another case from the files of Mr. District Attorney. But first, a word from our sponsor.
And now, here is our star, David Bryan, as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
A district attorney must see people through different eyes than others.
The man who passes on the street may be a criminal, wanted for prosecution, or he may be an innocent man who will one day find himself enmeshed in the law by a chain of circumstance. To tell them apart is the function of justice. This case started on a lonely road on the outskirts of town.
How is he, Francie?
He's still out, Rocky. You hit him awful hard.
Well, what'd you expect for $93,000? A love tap?
Well, he isn't just another gambler who can't go to the law. He's an important man. He'll make trouble.
Yeah. For who? An undertaker?
Rocky, you're not gonna...
Yeah, I'm gonna. What do you want me to do? Wake him up, tell him I'm sorry, give the dough back to him?
He won it.
Suckers ain't supposed to win. I run that game for me to win, one way or another. Yeah, this place is as good as any.
Rocky, I'm scared.
Oh, you just shut your mouth and help me get him out, will you?
Rocky, please.
So help me, Francie. One more bleed out of you, and I'll shove the muzzle of this gun down your throat and pull the trigger. Now, you going to help me get him out, or you want me to drag you out with him?
Don't hurt me, Rocky. I'll help you.
That's better. Come on. Run south, will you? That's it. That's better. All right. You hear anything coming?
How could I hear anything in this range?
That's good. Nobody else will hear anything either. Well, goodbye, Mr. Ferguson. Too bad you got so lucky.
In here, Ryan.
I wish you'd tell me what this is all about, Mr. Harrington.
District Attorney will tell you. Morning, Miss Miller.
Morning, Harrington.
Chief in?
Yes?
This is Joe Ryan, the cab driver we've been looking for. And you better tell him.
Yes, Miss Miller?
Harrington's here, Mr. Garrett. He has a Joe Ryan with him.
I'll send them in.
Yes, sir.
All right. Through here, Ryan.
You've been a little difficult to find, Mr. Ryan. We've been looking for you for 4 days.
I didn't know that till this morning.
Are you in the habit of taking 4-day vacations from driving your cab?
No, sir. I took the time off because I've been looking for a good buy on a new cab.
Why didn't you register a change of address with the Motor Vehicle Bureau when you moved a couple of months ago?
I forgot, that's all.
Well, you know that's a violation, don't you?
Yes, sir, but... Look, is that why you picked me up?
No, that isn't why.
4 nights ago, Ryan, just before you took this unusual vacation, you picked up a fare outside the Chelsea Club. Just a few minutes before midnight. Remember?
Ah, so that's it.
What did you expect it to be? Story of the murder's been in all the papers.
I know it.
You picked up a fare who was found murdered the next morning, and you know about it. But you don't get in touch with the police. Why?
Why should I? I don't know nothing about it. I picked the man up and I drove him home.
His body was found out on Pendleton Road.
What's that got to do with me? I took him home. Look, if you think I had anything to do with this, you're sending your dogs on the wrong trail.
Are we? Do you know we impounded your cab at the garage?
No, I didn't know it. I haven't been near the garage.
Maybe you should have been. Police lab crews gave the cab a going over. This is their report. Like me to read it to you?
I'd like anything that'd help to clear this up, yeah.
According to this report, Ryan, there were bloodstains on the back seat and the floor mat of your cab. Type O. The report also states that John Ferguson's blood was type O.
Oh, what's that prove? Lots of people have type O blood.
You've been reading up on the subject?
I don't have to read up. I was in the medics in the service. I got type O blood myself.
You trying to tell us it was your own blood on that back seat?
No, a guy got hurt in my cab.
When?
Why, it was the same night I picked Mr. Ferguson up the Chelsea Club. Look, I've driven Mr. Ferguson lots of times.
Yeah, we know. The doorman told us. That's what started us looking for you.
Who got hurt in your cab?
I don't know who he was. Can I tell you about it, about how it happened?
Well, that's why you're here.
All right. Well, it was after I dropped Mr. Ferguson off. I picked up these 6 guys. They were wearing those hats, you know, the convention that was in town last week.
Shriners?
Yeah, that's right. Well, there were 6 of them. And, brother, was it raining. They flagged me down. I don't usually take 6, but, well, with the weather and everything, I packed them in.
Then what?
Well, like I said, it was raining cats and dogs. They wanted to go to Savern Plaza. I took the freeway in. Some guy cut in front of me at Montrose turnoff, and I had to go for the brakes. The road was wet, and I went into a skid. Threw him around a little bit in the back seat. One of the guys in the drop seat bumped something, got a nosebleed. That's it. That's the whole story. Look, you gotta believe me about this.
Ryan, just before he left the Chelsea Club, Howard Ferguson cashed a check for $2,000. That was at midnight. You say you drove him home, but his body is found the next morning out on Pendleton Road without a cent on him.
And we find you out shopping for a new cab.
And it doesn't look good, Ryan.
I don't care how it looks.
Where'd you get the money for the new cab?
I won it.
Won it where?
Well, I won it a couple of months ago, just before I moved. That's where I got the dough to move.
Well, what do you mean by won?
Oh, the guys around the garage. We used to play the numbers. You know, the numbers racket.
And you won?
Yes, I won.
Then you won in $1 million in that sucker racket.
I know it, but that's where I got the dough. I spent part of it moving, and I was holding the rest until now to buy a new cab when the new models came out. They came out the day before yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That's where the dough come from. Honest it is.
Okay. Then there's only one other thing you have to tell us about. Who sold you the numbers?
A guy named Willie Lamont.
Where can we find him?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, he hasn't been around the garage in a couple of months. All of a sudden, he just stopped coming around.
Can any of the other cab drivers verify that you won that money?
No, I never told any of them.
Ryan, your story is pretty thin.
You can prove the part about the blood, can't you? Find the 6 guys I picked up.
Almost 40,000 of them come in for the convention from every state in the country. The convention ended yesterday.
Our chances of finding them might have been good while they were still in town.
Yeah, but we couldn't find you until this morning. And you didn't come in on your own.
I swear to you, I took Ferguson home.
Then how did his body get out on the Pendleton Road?
Wait a minute. I just remembered something.
You better remember for your own good.
What is it, Ryan?
Wait a minute. When I took him home, there's a big circular driveway at his place. Well, there was a car in front of the house when I let him out. I passed right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of people in the car. It was a limousine.
Why didn't you mention this before?
Well, I didn't think of it. I figured they were waiting to get into the house.
You didn't wait to find out?
No, I collected my fare in blue.
Ryan, nobody saw that car except you.
Servants didn't see anything. They didn't even hear your cab, Ryan.
It was raining so hard, the rain kept them from hearing.
Well, that could be one explanation.
What other explanation could there be?
The one that all the evidence seems to point to. Ryan, you never took Ferguson home.
This is a frame.
Take it easy.
It's a frame. Mr. Ferguson was a big shot, so you got to pin this on somebody in a hurry. And I'm the patsy, ain't I? It's a frame, ain't it? No matter what I tell you.
Everything you said will be checked, Ryan. Every single point. If you're innocent, I want to know it. I have no choice but to hold you.
I know.
Take him over to the county jail and book him, Harrington. Then come back and meet me in the record room.
Okay, Chief. Come on, Ryan.
Miss Miller?
Yes, Mr. Garrett.
Call the county sheriff's office. Vice squad detail. Ask for Sergeant Payne.
Sergeant Payne. Yes, sir.
Tell him I'd like him to come over and meet me in the record bureau.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Chief.
Get Ryan booked all right?
Yep. Well, what'd you think of his story?
Weak, but it has possibilities.
Like what?
This, for instance. There's a petty gambler named Willie Lamont. 3 times arrested as a runner for various bookies. Always the same charge. Taking bets on the numbers racket.
Yeah, but those arrests are all dated before you convinced the state legislature that gambling ought to be a felony.
He's probably been more careful since then. Gamblers are hard to put out of business.
No regular joints operating.
No, but there are floating places. And runners like Willie Lamont picking up bets.
Well, can't be much of it.
More than you think. I've had somebody on the sheriff's vice squad working on a report.
Oh, who?
Young sergeant. His name is Ed Payne. He's on his way over now. I thought he might be able to give us some information on Willie Lamont.
Look, couldn't I have handled this gambling report?
You're too well known to the professionals, Harrington. I need a young man who could work right in with them undercover. Payne's well qualified, fresh out of Army intelligence and a comparative stranger in town.
Oh.
Don't worry. You'll be there when we have a complete report and the time comes from the crackdown.
Chief, even if we do find this Willie Lamont, he's not going to stick his neck out to help Ryan. He won't admit taking that bet.
We'll have to find a way to make him admit it. Without Lamont's testimony, Ryan will be a cinch for conviction.
Oh, Chief, There's a fellow over there looking around.
Oh, that's Ed Payne. Over here, Sergeant.
Hi, Mr. Garrett. The secretary said you wanted to see me.
Yes. Sergeant Payne, this is my assistant, Harrington.
Hello, Sergeant.
Glad to know you. Heard a lot about you.
There's somebody else I hope you've heard a lot about, Payne. A bookmaker's runner named Willie Lamont. He's still operating?
Uh-huh. Left town a couple of months ago. Went to Chicago.
Oh, that's rough.
It's all right. We can extradite him if we have to.
That might not be too easy, Mr. Garrett.
Why not?
There's been some talk about him since he's been gone. They say he got ambitious in Chicago. Word got around that he was holding out some bets on his new boss, and also slipping in a phony winner or two to turn himself a dishonest dollar. The boss got wise to it.
You mean Lamont is on the run again? I need him badly as a witness.
Mr. Garrett, you know how the mobs are. If you want my opinion, Willie Lamont isn't on the run. He's standing still. Somewhere on the bottom of Lake Michigan, wearing a pair of cement shoes.
This is David Bryan. Before we continue with Mr. District Attorney in the case of the Vanishing Runner, here is an important message from my sponsor.
And now back to David Bryan, starring as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
A prominent citizen had been murdered, and a cab driver, surrounded by a mesh of circumstantial evidence, had been taken into custody. We needed a small-time gambler to verify the cab driver's alibi, but the underworld grapevine indicated that the only possible witness was dead. For 2 days, I had Harrington and Sergeant Payne of the Sheriff's Vice Squad check on every possible source of additional information. Haven't you been able to locate Harrington yet, Miss Miller?
Yes, sir. Basement garage called. He just drove in. He's on his way up now.
Oh.
You don't look well today.
Well, I had to get a grand jury indictment against Ryan this morning. It isn't a very pleasant prospect.
Well, it's not your... Oh, well, here's Harrington now.
Well, sorry it's gone so long, Chief, but I ran into some pretty funny things.
What?
This Howard Ferguson was having an awful lot of trouble before he was killed.
What kind of trouble?
Well, believe it or not, financial.
Howard Ferguson?
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Here's a complete rundown. He was draining money away from his business investments and putting it into his personal account, stalling his creditors. A few of them even had him on a COD basis. And a couple of other things, too. He was
excuse me. Am I interrupting?
No, it's all right, Payne. Come in.
Answer just came in from Chicago. No line on Willie Lamont.
Well, I guess the scuttlebutt you heard was right, then. Go ahead, Harrington.
That $2,000 check wasn't unusual. Ferguson had been cashing checks for that amount or more a couple of nights a week.
What would he need it for?
Only one thing I can think of, Mr. Garrett.
Gambling?
Only kind of business I can think of where a lot of money changes hands in the middle of the night.
Payne, when players go to one of these floating games you've been looking into, how are they notified where the game is going to be held?
Well, they aren't notified. A slip-up could lead to a raid. They don't tell the customers where to go. They come and pick them up in a limousine.
Limousine? Chief, Ryan said there was a limousine parked in Ferguson's driveway the night he drove him home.
Gamblers wouldn't have killed Ferguson for $2,000, though. They had an easier way to take the money away from him.
Unless he won.
Yes.
If a man got lucky in a big money game, he might win 50 or 100,000 with a hot pair of dice.
That's enough for a killing.
No, I'm not in, Miss Miller.
Yes, sir. Hello? It's the Holloway Bank and Trust for Harrington.
Oh, that's Ferguson's bank, Chief. They were checking something for me.
I better take it.
Hello? This Harrington. Yep. What's that name again? No. First name. Spell it. F-R... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. Thanks, Miss Miller. Ferguson had been writing some other big checks made out to cash, in addition to the one he cashed at the Chelsea Club. The bank says the others were endorsed by a Francine DeVoe.
Francine DeVoe. Mr. Garrett, can I call the record room for a minute?
Go ahead. Get it for him, Miss Miller.
You got a match, Payne?
Yes, all right.
Oh, thanks.
Sure will.
Record room? Just a second.
Thanks. Hello, Mike. Ed Payne. You still got that Willie Lamont fold you pulled for me? No, his wife's maiden name. Yeah, Mike, plenty. Thanks a lot. That's something, Mr. Garrett. Francine DeVoe, alias Francine Lamont. She was Willie Lamont's wife. I heard about it when I was trying to get a rundown on Lamont.
How come she didn't go to Chicago with him?
She divorced Willie a couple of years ago. Started to run around with the big-time gamblers, working for boys like Rocky Jessup.
What do you mean by working for them?
Bait. A shill. Stirring suckers to their games.
Men like Ferguson?
He cashed an awful lot of checks.
Can you find out where Rocky Jessup is holding his next game?
No, I could find out, but I couldn't get in.
Why not? You've been making contact.
Yeah, as a small-time gambler. I've never flashed the kind of money they're interested in. And if I did flash it all of a sudden, they might get curious.
Well, suppose you called up and said you had a wealthy customer, somebody you'd steer to the game for a percentage.
Yeah, that could work. But who? You or Harrington, they might know.
How about me?
Oh, please.
No, wait a minute, Harrington. How about it, Payne?
Yeah, could be good. Wealthy young woman from out of town looking for kicks.
Hey, I was only joking, Mr. Garrett.
Well, I wasn't.
I'd be scared silly.
They won't try anything inside the place. There'll be other people. Anything they do will be outside. And when you come outside, we'll be waiting.
But I won't know how to act or what to say.
Oh, we'll tell you. But first, take this.
$100? What would
Go to a costume rental place. Rent an evening gown, the best they have, and a fur wrap. Buy some good-looking costume jewelry. You drive it, Harrington.
But...
Come on, Cinderella.
You know what I want you to do, don't you, Payne?
I think so. After we get in, ask questions. Make them suspect I'm a cop.
That's right. Maybe if you tip your hand, they'll tip theirs. Now call Rocky Jessup and arrange for the pickup.
I'm scared, Payne.
Do you like a little action, huh, Miss Miller?
Yes, I think gambling's very exciting.
Well, I run a good game. You'll like it. What's your poison?
I beg your pardon? I can't hear you too well back here.
No, I said, what do you like? The wheel, phone, spaceport?
Roulette, Rocky. She likes the wheel.
Oh, good. You'll be happy that Payne suggested my place to you. Payne tells me you're from out of town.
Yeah, that's right. Cleveland.
Family and business there?
Yes, they have a chain of grocery stores.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, people gotta eat.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said that's right, Mr. Jessup.
Oh, just call me Rocky, huh? But don't let the name fool you. I'm really a soft guy. Payne will tell you.
Rocky's tops, Miss Miller.
I don't see any particular car following us, Payne.
The working relays on the radio car set up. One turns off, another one turns in behind us.
You say something, Payne?
Just telling Miss Miller about the percentages in the game. Odds, law of averages.
Yeah. You want to listen to him, Miss Miller. This boy knows the score. You might make a killing tonight. Well, here we are. Target for tonight.
Well, what kind of a place is this?
Oh, don't be scared. This is just an abandoned airplane hangar. Used to be an airfield here and a flying school. There's no use letting the building go to waste, huh?
You sure know how to pick the spots, Rocky.
Yeah, and you sure know how to pick the dolls. Well, come on, Miss Miller. Thinking you're liable to cost me some money tonight. Nobody's going to be looking at the dice with you around. Just got to be careful, you know. All right, go ahead now, folks.
Dark.
Well, it'll be light as soon as we get through the other door.
Oh, don't be afraid. Come on.
Hey, looks a little better than you thought, huh, Miss Miller?
It's surprising.
Well, all my customers go first class. Francine.
I'll be there in a second.
All righty. Francine's her hostess. She'll tell you where the action is. Oh, Francie, this is Miss Miller. She's from Cleveland, friend of Payne's. You know Payne, don't you?
I've seen him around.
Francine. My uncle mentioned meeting a Francine the last time he was here on a visit. He likes to gamble, too.
Is that so? What's your uncle's name?
Miller. Same as mine. Robert Miller.
I don't remember him.
Well, it could have been another Francine, of course, but... Well, it is an unusual name.
How long ago?
Just about a week ago. Yes, just the night before he came back to Cleveland.
I didn't run no game last week.
Uncle Bob said the game was in some kind of an old restaurant on Henderson Road, something like that.
No, Pendleton Road.
That wouldn't be our game. Would it, Rocky?
No, not out there.
Must have been somebody else, Miss Miller.
No, he said Francine. He said it was raining like blazes. Oh, yes. And some man won a lot of money. Practically broke the game. Uncle Bob was standing right next to him. His name was Ferguson.
Your uncle tells you things in detail, doesn't he?
You better show me what refreshments we got, Francine, huh? Payne and the lady can just drift around and look things over. Okay, Payne?
Oh, sure. Come on, Miss Miller. I'll show you the dice table.
I thought that same Mr. Ferguson might be here. If he was, I bet the way he bet.
You sure don't like this, Francine.
Neither do I. Why didn't you tell me Payne was coming?
Why?
Because he's the one who's been nosing around asking questions about Willie.
Well, we had nothing to do with what happened to Willie.
No, but we did with Ferguson, and he was asking questions like a cop.
Why would a cop steer a rich dame here?
Rich dame, nothing.
Huh?
Did you see the label in that fur jacket she's dragging around?
No.
Madame Pompadour Costume Rentals.
Get him over to the door.
Well, I...
Do like I tell you. You gotta get rid of him tonight and blow town, but fast. Now, go ahead.
Miss Miller.
Oh, we were just watching.
There's a much bigger game in another room around the side of the building. Rocky thought you and Mr. Payne would rather go in there.
Which way?
Well, we have to go outside first and then around.
Well, that sounds interesting, Miss Miller.
Yes. Oh, that dark place again.
It's only for a second.
All right, cop. You and this dame outside to the car. And no funny moves or I get a hole in my pocket and you got a hole in your back.
Do what they say, Miss Miller.
Where are you going to take us?
Same place we took Ferguson. And we're going to leave you the same way.
I wouldn't count on that,
Rocky.
You're covered every way. Don't move.
You dirty...
Down, Miss Miller.
Don't kill me. He's dead. Don't kill me, don't.
Let me help you, Miss Miller.
Oh, thanks.
How is he hanging?
Rocky, he's not dead. He'll live to stand trial.
Well, I'll testify. I'll make a deal with you.
We don't need any deals, thank you. Take him in, Harrigan. Payne?
Right, Chief.
Yes, Mr. Go.
Round up that crowd inside. They can do their gambling in a cell for the night. Come on, Miss Miller. I'll drive you home.
Thank you.
You're shaking. You scared?
Oh, Mr. Garrett, I just kept thinking when they were shooting, what could I ever tell a Madame Pompadour Costume Company if I brought back this fur jacket with a bullet hole in it?
What? Miss Miller, if I didn't hear it, I wouldn't believe it.
Oh, I shouldn't have expected a man to understand.
This is David Bryan. I hope you enjoyed this case from the files of Mr. District Attorney. I'll be back in just a moment after this message from our sponsor.
Now, here's the star of Mr. District Attorney, David Bryan, with a word about the program you have just heard.
Rocky Jessup was tried and convicted on a charge of murder in the first degree. The death penalty was mandatory. His accomplice, Francine DeVaux, alias Francine Lamont, was sentenced to the women's prison for 15 years. Now, this is David Bryan inviting you to join us when we present our next case based on the facts of crime from the file of Mr. District Attorney.
Mr. District Attorney was originated by Phillips H. Lord.